Hello, everybody, and welcome to our newest indoor adventure in another One-Shot Wednesday. This week we are going to be playing an adventure of my own design called Eyes of the Viper, where we are actually revisiting some characters from one of our first streams, which, looking back on it now, was kind of a One-Shot Wednesday. I don't know if it was on Wednesday or not, but we played and streamed, and it was kind of a one-shot. So we are actually going to be getting RJ and Danae as returning characters, VIPRE and Su Long from our Temple of the Magic Spider one-shot. Way long ago. I think it might actually be the first stream game that we have up, because I remember the first session that we had, our overlay didn't work, so you can just see four to five floating heads on a Zoom chat. It's super fun. But I would also like to say today is May 1st, 2019, and you are loved. And that's very important to remember. Also, other things to remember, if you would like to join into our community at all, you can go to twitch.tv/indooradventures or patreon.com/indooradventures or youtube.com/indooradventures, pretty much anywhere. And we do this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Also, because this is the month of my birthday, I wanted to be able to celebrate with you guys all month long. So I'm gonna try something new, which is I'm gonna open up our Discord. I'm going to make sure that for this entire month, you don't have to be a patron, you don't have to be a Twitch sub. I will be posting a link to our Discord server in the description of the video below. So if you are interested in possibly joining up with us on there and talking to all of these wonderful people in between the show, you can totally do that. And who knows? If this thing ends up being good and we like the way that it works after this month, we'll just keep it open, because there's no reason why we should prevent any of you awesome people who watch us weekly, or some people who watch us daily, to not be able to join in getting to just hang out after hours, which is always something that I really enjoy. So with that in mind, I would also like to say, guys, did you know we got merch? We got some sweet fancy merch. We got mugs. We got t-shirts. My hair is really in the way, but you can see the Blake Scars t-shirt that also has a new brand spanking cool symbol of Tiamat on the back, which I always think is funny because whenever I wear this shirt out in public, people ask if it's a metal band. And in a way, Tiamat is metal, but you can trick your friends into thinking you listen to heavy metal by wearing this t-shirt. So I highly suggest it just for that. The symbol was also designed by our dear friend Cyberwolf, so it shows him support as well by helping support this t-shirt. We also have the bigger Battler mug, as I have displayed, which holds an awesome 15 ounces of liquid, including mugs from our mugshot collection that GB is holding up, which includes faces from our Waterdeep campaign. That campaign is now over. Those mugs are a limited quantity, so if you are interested in possibly picking up one of those mugs, there is no better time than now. With that in mind, we are also working on getting more merch in the store. Not just art, not just shirts, but a bunch of other stuff. I am still working on figuring that part out. Also, for anyone who is interested, we are having a giveaway. And our giveaway is going to last until next Monday, where you have the possibility of winning either the Sinister Emerald Mythica dice from Die Hard Dice. They are a really nice fancy metal set. Or there is the possibility of winning a custom spellbook from Elderwood Academy. That includes room for 2 miniatures, an entire set of dice, the spell cards that were created by Gale Force 9, or if you have your own spell cards that you use, as well as includes a place to roll your dice and a section that is a dry erase board, so that way you can mark your health and do all sorts of other stuff on there as well. I just received the shipping notification for that earlier today, so Next week, I should be getting it in. I can show you guys on camera what it looks like. And then the person who won it will have a awesome time getting that in the mail. So I am very excited for its arrival. Now, with that said, that is going to be it for my merch spiel. So, guys, who are we playing tonight? Let's start with you, RJ.
Hey everybody, I'm playing Sulong of House Shen, and I am a human fighter cleric.
All right, next up, Lazybones. Who are you playing?
Declaration. I am playing L-1NG0, otherwise known as Lingo, the Warforged Mastermind Rogue.
Yes. And Wings, who are you playing?
I'm going to be playing VIPRE, the fighter bard human, ?
No one's ever seen her face. And GB, who you playing?
I'll be playing Ragni Nagaro. He's dark. Shadow monk, shadow sorcerer.
Nice. And I am the indoor adventurer, and I shall be your dungeon master for this evening. So, let us get to a little bit of setting. As you guys are going to be playing in the Warring Kingdoms, a location that we have mentioned the Warring Nations, sorry. A place that we have mentioned multiple times in our Monday show, as well as in occasionally we have brought it up in other one-shots as well, but we have never really had an adventure that takes place in this location. However, that changes today. So some things about the Warring Nations that you viewers would need to know is that this is a location that has been immersed in turmoil for thousands of years at this point. There has never been a predominant ruler of these nations. There has never been a time of peace. There have been times of less war, but there has never been a time of true peace. This is a nation that is these nations are comprised mostly of human houses that are trying to just stake their claim and stake their foothold. Most notable of these houses is House Shen, where our dear friend Sulong is from, as you guys found out in the Monday game, is actually backed by the Bronze Dragon, Arathsk, and is one of the longest standing houses inside the Warring Nations. Another interesting thing to note is that people within the Warring Nations don't typically have last names. Instead, what they'll have is a regional identifier. So, for example, saying that Sulong is of House Shen would be in the Warring Nations. He is Sulong of Shen, as it is much easier to determine where you are from geographically in the moment versus family names, because families come and go. Kings end up either getting deposed or dying, and other noble families take their place, and it's just easier to kind of point to the nation that you're from rather than the family that you're from. Although notable families do end up taking over will usually repurpose the nation after their own name. So if there is a new nation that spurs up that people aren't necessarily privy to at the time, chances are they might hear about it later, either as a kind of vassal nation to another larger nation like House Shen, or they will possibly get absorbed by a more aggressively expanding nation. So where our story takes place is in the kind of eastern areas of the Warring Nations. This location isn't by the ocean. It is actually more inland, kind of in a more mountainous territory, and is several nations away from House Shen. And speaking of several nations away from House Shen, our heroes, VIPRE, Sulong, Ragni, and Lingo. You guys actually all met up in the free realms of Alira, while Viper, you and Sulong were going about your travels. Sulong, you not wanting to fulfill the destiny that had been put in by your family's words, instead kind of taking a walkabout. And it was there that the two of you ended up meeting up with a monk friend as well as a roguish individual by the name of Tifa, where the four of you pursued a magical item called or pursued a mystical temple called the Temple of the Magic Spider. Your adventure was forgotten about, not only by those around, but also by yourselves, as a magical spell had actually been cast to prevent you from remembering the location of said temple. But you did feel a stronger sense of camaraderie and continued north. And it was there, once you reached the floating city of Vascor, did you part ways. Sulong, you and Viper kind of staying together, seeing as how you were both from the warring nations before. It made sense just as an easier way to kind of make the connection with social norms. That and... in a way, you trust each other, even though Viper never has shown you her face once. You are pretty sure that they are human, just based off of the geographical location. It was there in the floating city of Vascor that you ended up meeting Lingo, who was a Warforged translator at the time, but one thing led to another, and Lingo ended up joining up with you, and is currently not allowed back in the floating city for thought theft, intellectual property theft. It's not exactly the most glamorous of crimes, for sure, but they have a very strict policy with regards to invention in that city. If you would like, Lingo, you and Ragne can have known each other from beforehand while you were doing these kind of intellectual thought crimes. So the four of you ended up leaving the city, and that is when Viper, you had gotten word that a nation within the warring nations by the name of Botan had actually taken over another neighboring nation by the name of Jocasta. And this struck you, mostly because the armor that you find yourself wearing is Jocastan. You later kind of explain that is roughly around where you have come from, if not claiming heritage from Jocasta itself. And so the four of you decided to head southward to kind of investigate how this mighty nation fell to the nation of Botan, which Botan in its current state is in this more aggressively expanding kind of situation. The information that you have all been able to gather from this is it's been about 7 or 8 years since things started getting weird in Botan. Specifically because the nation of Botan and the nation of Jocasta were friends. The rulers were childhood friends. One of them being a more magically inclined individual, and the other more of a martial figure. A martial figure being the leader of Botan. However, 7 or 8 years ago, this older individual, as the king of Botan, began to put into place what is described as the Unbreakable Oath, which is a symbol and performative ritual of fealty to him, in which these individuals would place a marking upon their body that would prevent them physically from ever rising up against him as their ruler. And the reason why people were subjecting themselves to this is because he is attempting to make magic illegal within this nation. And in order to be able to practice it, you must take one of these symbols onto yourself. Now, that's not really that far-fetched from what you guys have been able to tell from nations to the south. However, what made this really interesting is that the ruler of Botan, Syrus, began to ask other nations and other rulers to undergo this unbreakable oath. And that is where there was a strict line drawn with the Jocastans. In that, as a magical nation, they, in order to take this symbol, would be to kind of take several steps back towards what they've been trying to do, this magical, to be this magical foothold in the warring nations. So to hear of this nation's fall at the hands of Botan does not bode well for the lot of you. And you now have made your way south, past several outposts, and eventually found your way to a neighboring country, Azard. And Azard, as a neighboring nation of Botan, is very worried about the situation as a whole. Not only because of this new tyrant king, this Syrus, who is trying to make all magic illegal in nations that he rules over, but they shared previously a border with both Botan and Jocasta. They fear that they are next. And so, as you guys have made your way to Azard, you have been confronted by individuals who believe that it's time. This is the time that Syrus should take his leave of being the ruler of Botan. Mostly in that they are fearing for their own borders, but they just saw what happened to Jocasta, and they are not particularly pleased. Your adventuring company, however, or mercenary group, however you would like to stylize yourselves, I will call you a group of heroes, regardless of what happens. But your group of heroes has all been charged, primarily by supporters of the and loyalists of Jocasta, to go into the lands of Botan. And they will send somebody to help escort you there and get you to the sewers that lead up to the primary keep of Botan. And upon reaching the sewers, you guys will be on your own to find your way into the keep and depose the king, as they don't want to risk any of this falling back on Azard when they are already not in the best of positions. They are offering to pay you handsomely, and should the king be deposed, they will make sure to award you with lands and titles of your own, and anything that you find within the king's coffers, including gold or magical items, is yours up to a reasonable point. If you are taking more than what the people are able to use, that's fine. But if you're going more towards the fact where it's like, well, all of this gold is mine now, they are not going to stand for it, and then you will make an enemy of the people who are willing to hire you. So the agreements go off without a hitch, and you guys have now found yourself at a campfire about a day's travel away, a half day's travel away come the morning, in the lands of Botan, away from the keep itself. And you can see it. It's off in the distance, maybe about 12 miles or so. You know that it's going to take a while on foot to reach there, especially going more stealthily, as it's always war times. The watch is always very high. But you believe that your guide is going to be trustworthy enough to actually get you there. Your guide is a tiefling man. He is red-skinned. He's very lithe. Sorry, not red-skinned. He is actually green-skinned, very lithe, and he introduces himself as Jackspar. And he believes that they won't be able to detect anyone coming through the sewers that they don't have. He's been down there several times, just kind of staking it out, and they don't ever send guards or patrols. He says that the animals that are down there have been acting weird. The rats, while normally kind of scurry about and do their own thing, they seem to be getting more organized, and he's not exactly sure what that particularly entails. Whether it is some kind of Piper situation, or if there is a much larger rat that's commanding the other ones. He isn't sure, but his job is to get you to the sewers. So he is currently out getting you guys food, and you are all around a campfire. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves. Get to know each other as you have over these last several months.
Prerogative. What level of security are we expecting in the keep?
Probably very high.
The highest.
As long as there's shadows, I can move through it.
That is very good to know. And what's it? Ragni is a monk?
A monk sorcerer. he calls himself a shadowmancer.
Ooh.
And you guys have seen him literally like drift into a shadow in one place and come out a shadow somewhere else.
That's going to be very useful.
And as you've never seen Viper's face, Ragni quite often has a different face. So
This group is perfect for each other.
Lingo, are you equipped to deal with any doors or locks, or are you just linguistics?
Declaration. I am equipped to deal with any situation. And Lingo holds up their hand, and you see the hand like split apart, and like basically a Swiss Army knife crink, just deploys, and then you see the arm fold back together and then flip around, and kind of like Cyborg from Teen Titans, but instead of a cannon, a crossbow kind of forms itself together as the forearm.
Freaking
And then
rad.
kind of deploys back into a hand.
Nice. So, what's the game plan, Viper?
We're going to enter in through the sewers. We're going to send the stealthier of our group in to scout out the actual compound. And then once we have more information, we can make plans from there.
Or we can go in, start hacking things up. I'm kidding.
This is a very precise situation, Sulong.
You say that about every situation, though.
Especially this one. Syrus Botan must die tonight. Every previous assassination attempt has failed.
And Sulong is listening to her as he's polishing a pair of rounded glasses. There's like a small crack in one of the lenses.
Oh no.
Assessment. To go in hacking, as Sulong says, would lead to very slim odds of survival.
I forgot. Jokes don't go over well with Warforge.
what do we know about this guy?
He's an asshat.
I enjoy killing asshats.
Paranoid.
Well, when the shadows can, step out and stab you, it's good to be paranoid.
It's not unwarranted.
He's had like what? 3-4 assassination attempts against him?
At least. I haven't been here for 7 years. But Syrus Botan has a daughter. She must live.
So
the heiress, I take it.
She nods.
Get the girl, kill the king.
Leave the girl if possible.
Leave her alive, though.
Yes.
Yes.
I should probably be more specific.
Ragni doesn't laugh, but
Oh, yeah, no, I'm serious.
no, it's gonna be hard, guys. It's gonna be very hard.
Oh, goodness.
All right.
What sort of species makeup does the guard entail? Dwarves, orcs, elves, tieflings,
Human?
humans.
Mostly human.
7 years ago, it was human.
Well, I'll converge in 7 years.
I am proficient in many forms of communication. Perhaps we can create a communication of some form to hide our communications from those who would be listening.
I have something that can help with that. It's only a two-way conversation.
Dungeon Master,
Yes.
I would like to invoke my linguist feat
Uh-oh.
and help create a cipher, a spoken cipher for
Okay.
us to communicate.
Dag, bro.
I dig it. I'm down with this. Make a. What do you think this would be? Intelligence or wisdom?
Uh,
I think.
I always do teaching as wisdom, but that's just me.
Would it be teaching for you wisdom for everyone else to like
That's fair. Yeah.
reciprocate it?
How
Or-
long has our group been together? Can we
Sure.
argue that this has already been established?
I'll say yeah, it's been established because it's a one shot and that sounds cool.
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right. So I create us a spoken cipher which uses celestial.
Ooh.
Because we are very unlikely to encounter anything that already speaks celestial.
Fingers crossed.
But
Cross your fingers.
I may have just doomed us all.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, but
Syrus
even
Botan's just like, aha, and I know Celestial.
and even then, they would have to pass an intelligence check to understand what we're saying. So
It's Pig Latin, but Celestial.
Is it bad that I speak infernal?
It's kind of like that.
I could speak that too.
Ah, good.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys have yourself a verbal cipher. You have so the plan is to go in not swinging, but instead try and figure out a more stealthy way inside.
Yeah, we're gonna sneak as much as possible, but I think that we have a contingency plan if and when shit hits the fan, which
Okay.
is stick together, see if the job can be completed. If it can, complete the job and get out of there as quick as possible.
Okay.
Now, I do warn you, it's going to be kind of hard for me to sneak in any motions to his like regalia, which has a coiling serpent around it that's like just moving.
Subtlety, thy name is Sulong.
And that's
I
why we're
sprang for the
going into the
glamour.
sewers. And then that's when Jack Spar shows up, and he has what looks to be a boar over his shoulders. And he just kind of
shit.
comes over, sets it down onto the ground next to you guys, pulls out a knife, and just starts going to town on it.
That guy's got some BDE going on. He can hunt a boar by himself.
Hey, man, he went to Hell Scouts camp. He knows all about how to hunt things by himself.
Motherfucker.
You sure did. You didn't recognize
Yeah,
that
you
name?
didn't.
I heard Jaspar, not Jaspar.
Oh,
Yep,
Hell Scouts, the best and brightest.
best of the worst. And he he sets the board down, continues to cut it out, and then manages to make food for the lot of you. He kind of keeps the campfire low, and instead you see him producing flames in his hand to kind of slow cook the meat for each individual serving, to try and keep the amount of lights that would be visible towards you guys at a very minimum setting. And he says that you guys are going to have to head out early in the morning, so it's best to get your rest now. And he will volunteer to join anybody for watches. And as you guys continue on through the evening, your watches go by uneventfully. You're kind of making sure to stay out of the way. Jack Sparrow was trained in the art of ambushing and knows how locations that you guys would normally be ambushed at. So he is making sure to kind of just keep you all clear of any kind of dangerous situation, as that is what he has been paid for. And eventually you guys make your way the next morning after a full night's rest to the shadow of this keep. And it's
Before we leave,
yes,
I'm gonna gather everybody around, and I'm going to tell them, I'm not going to lie to you. I have a personal stake in this mission, but you need to know that this is not going to be my kill. This is our kill. If anybody has an open shot, you take it.
I always
And everybody gets 9 temporary HP from my inspiring leader feat.
you didn't say very much, and it takes 10 minutes, so it's just kind of an awkward 10-minute speech, but it works.
I mean, like, you know, I had something
Work it
to
in
say.
at the end of something.
Lots
Like,
of
this
cheap
breakfast
building
is really good.
exercises.
Hey everybody. While we're at it, boost your maximum hit points by 5. I'm casting aid.
Yeah.
Wow.
Besides me.
And are those stack on top of the temp hit points, or
No, this one raises your maximum hit points by 5.
how do you change that in D&D Beyond?
Beyond.
You click on your hit points and go down to max HP modifier.
Yeah. And they hit like
Aha, there it is.
Yeah.
Aw,
We
yeah.
learn things on this stream, too. That's
We're
important.
gonna fuck shit up.
Yeah! All right.
And
What?
I will I'll talk to Viper, just the two of us, and I'm like, should I give Su Long my cloak? It helps hide your movements.
Sulong throws a cloak over himself. He knows how gaudy his shit is.
It wouldn't hurt.
All right. And Ragni will walk up and he'll flourish the big spawn like cloak off, and he'll hand it to you, and you notice that when he takes it off, it stops being all like big cowled and crazy black, and as he hands it to you, it changes. It's an elven cloak, so if you don't have disadvantage in stealth, it will give you advantage in stealth.
Ah.
So I roll flat. Awesome.
Yes, I'm trying, bud. I'm trying. You know.
Then, upon seeing this, Lingo pops up and says, "Analysis. Lingo will take point. Due to superior stealthing capabilities." And because Lingo also has a cloak with Elvenkind.
Yeah, then
Because
you're up.
we think alike.
You heard infiltration mission, and you were like, I know what to
Ah,
do.
Yes.
Viper will say, confirmed. Lead the way, but stay close.
And Lingo's normally ashy metallic skin turns like what's the flora like here? So it's just woodlands.
It is, the flora has all been kind of cut and moved away. You see that there is mostly grass that's around here, just kind of rolling hills, grasslands, but a lot of the grass is dead. It's just this very brown, mundane looking color. There are wheat fields that look like they have kind of been left to mold. Maybe the rains over the last few weeks have not been the most kind to them. And it just seems like this is a very dour environment.
Then Lingo's carapace, I guess. Skin isn't the right word.
His armor?
Yeah, armor. It's not technically armor though, because I guess.
I like carapace. That sounds cool.
Yeah,
Exoskeleton?
Yeah, carapace turns kind of a dull brown, and like just folds and just starts doing a bear crawl, like going forward,
Nice.
staying low to the ground. It's kind of eerie, like arms out, legs out, bent 90 degrees, and just like as he goes low to scout ahead.
There he goes. That's our boy.
Okay. So yeah, you guys scuttle low and make your way into this town. Make a set of stealth checks as you go.
Oh no, all of a sudden I'm very concerned.
Don't fuck me. 21.
26.
15.
28.
Wow.
I'm with some stealthy motherfuckers.
Yeah, Jackspar also rolled really high, like 20 plus, so you guys are just shadows moving through this town, doing the ultimate infiltration force. And eventually you make your way. The keep itself is built onto a large hillside, and there is a grate that you can see at the base of this hillside that just has regrettably raw sewage just kind of trickling out from it, and you all would know based on Jackspar's description that this is the entry point to actually get into the Botan Keep. So with quick work, as he pulls out a set of keys, he actually undoes the lock that's keeping this large grate pulled or large grate shut. And you guys all rolled well enough on stealth that he actually pulls out a vial of grease and puts it on the hinges of this door before he opens it up. And as he does, it just almost silently, there's very little wrought iron gate sound as it just as he pulls it back open for you all. And as he pulls it, he motions for you guys to go in and says, I'm going to stay nearby for the next hour or so in case you all end up needing to escape. After that, I'm going to assume that the mission's going off without a hitch, and I'll see you back in Hazard.
Yep.
Affirmative.
Curt nod.
Good luck out there.
He gives you a nod, and then he will shut the gate behind you, bring the key back out, turn the lock, and then he gives the grate a double tap. Just, all right. Good luck. And Godspeed.
He got my 9 temporary hit points as well, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
And
Just checking.
And he then just slinks off. You see him kind of crouch low to the ground, bring his hood up, and he looks just sort of like an old, more feeble man as he hobbles away. So the four of you see ahead of you just a long tunnel. And it's not like waist-high sewage or anything like that. Like, it is just kind of a steady trickle that is coming out. But the waterways underneath this keep seem fairly easy to navigate. And VIPRE, you actually have a pretty good, you've had to use these tunnels before. So their layout is, even though it's been a while, you still have a good idea of the direction that you would need to follow in order to get closest to where you believe Syrus is, which is in, which would be in his central chamber, where he has his throne as well as does his general meetings with other dignitaries. So make a survival check with advantage as you navigate through here.
Okay. 18.
Okay. Yeah, no issue. So you begin making your way down these tunnels, and the three of you see that there's very little hesitation when VIPRE goes to take a turn. And she seems very dedicated. You guys didn't get a very good layout of the castle as a whole, so you're not particularly sure where you're going, but you all have the general sense that her sure-footedness and the aura of purposefulness is really just kind of bringing out that that sense of inspired leadership that you know your dear friend to carry. And as you make your way through these sewers, I would like for all of you to make perception checks.
I mean, I'm a rogue, so it's still a good roll.
Bard. 19.
18.
19, 18, natural 20.
Oh yeah.
You say 9?
9.
Okay. So yeah, the lot of you are making your way through the sewers, and again, 3 out of 4 of you notice this. But as you are all walking, you can see up on ledges that there are rats, and not just a small handful. It seems like there are actually a decent number of them. And each one of them, as you guys continue to walk, one will steadily turn its head towards you and just sort of seems like it's looking at you. And then it'll scurry forward and you'll see another rat appear next to it, and then they'll both stand and watch and look at you and continue on. And both of them will then turn their heads in unison and actually watch as you guys move. Until eventually, as you've been walking for maybe 5 minutes or so, that there are just several swarms of rats that are following along these top ledges, just watching you.
I'm way too paranoid for that. So after 2 rats get together and watch us, I would definitely stop VIPRE and be like, "What the hell is that about?"
Lingo, what do you make of this?
Analyzing. Beep, beep, boop. Can I make an insight check on the rat swarms to see if they're like hostile intent?
You can, yes. Please fucking beep beep boop me. All Warforged. This is canon now. Let's all make this noise.
That is a 24.
All
on the
right.
insight.
They are... There's something very odd about this, because they aren't exuding a aggressive body language, but it seems more quizzical. But it's the more of them that you see with the same body language moving at the same time, this kind of reminds you of when you were in your home city. As there is actually in the floating city of Vascor a Warforged guard that are meant to keep magical means under wraps. So there's no wizard who's out just casting fireballs all over the place. But they acted, those Warforged, the Silvered Legion, acted as a hive mind, as a group collective. And that's kind of the sense that you're getting from these rats, is that they aren't acting individually. They seem to all be kind of moving together.
Brett, analysis. Cautious. Rats are working together as one, linked, single consciousness. No current threat, perhaps later.
What's their intelligence level?
I can't tell that. I don't know that as I'm not the inquisitive. I am the mastermind. And
I see. Okay.
I cannot find things out. But
Information not found.
yes, 404. Beep beep boop.
As a future Warforged character, I will never do that.
You aren't in this world, so it's fine.
Shoot.
You're saved.
Saved.
I'm going to use my message cantrip to try and catch one off guard, just in case they're capable of speech.
Okay.
And I'm just going to ask one of them, what are they doing?
Okay. So
like the actual words, what are they doing? As if I'm a rat next to them asking the other rat what the people down there are doing.
make a deception check as you cast the spell.
You can do this.
Ooh, I can do this. 21.
Okay. And as you ask this question, and do your best to deceive it, you watch as these swarms of rats stop, and they straighten up on their back hind legs, bringing their small little rat claws up, and all of them, and there's about 25, 30 rats at this point that all collectively look down at you, Viper.
Hello?
And all of you hear collectively in your minds, "What brings you here?"
Nope. Viper.
Scatter.
We're just passing through.
"We do not believe this. We have seen your intentions. You would lie."
Our mission is, and then you hear a ka-chunk from inside Lingo. Classified. Ka-chunk.
This is none of your business. I'm just keeping my own information to myself. We're passing through. You need not know more.
Make a wisdom save.
Oh, shit.
Ooh.
Everyone
I'm not good at those guys.
Mm.
Oh, fuck. That's a 3.
As you say, your information is your own and that you will not give it up freely, you feel your mind being prodded. Like your thoughts are being read, and you can actually feel that there is this separate force that is going in deeper. And it is scanning more than just your surface thoughts. And all of you, again, hear collectively, "The daughter of Botan has returned. Syrus will be displeased."
Kill them.
Disappear into a shadow, appear in the middle of them, and I will. It is called Sword Burst, but for me, it is called Shadow Burst.
Okay.
And I will let them have it.
Sounds good. All right, so what do they need to roll?
Dex 13 or better.
Okay. And that is not that great, I don't think. Yeah, they both fail. Both of these large swarms.
All right. Let's see. So that is 2d6 to all those individuals that are within 5 feet of me.
Okay. That you said was 8?
I have not rolled the damage
Oh, okay.
yet.
Got it.
And you thought ninjas were only blenders.
Well,
Well, actually,
and what happens is like tendrils of darkness just shoot out from every direction around him in a dome, and flail at them, causing each of them 10 points of damage.
Ooh. GB. Okay. So at this, I would like for everybody to roll initiative.
oh boy.
good.
Don't know how effective this is going to be.
Alrighty, so at the top, or not the top of the round, because we don't know who's going yet. Su Long, what'd you get?
16.
Okay. Ragni, what'd you get?
18.
And Lingo?
I got a total of 5. Yeah, I rolled a 1, but a
Okay.
total of 5.
That's pretty good still.
Yep.
Get the ones out for initiative.
yeah.
And Viper, what'd you get?
9.
Okay, sounds good.
9, 9, 9, 9, 9.
So at the top of the round, so what happens is that Ragni, as you appear in this shadowed burst in the grouping and cluster of these rats, they all fly off of the area where you have hit, and you watch as these shadowed darts just shoot out in a burst around you and actually hit a fair number of these creatures, and you watch them just seize up, fall over, and die. And from both of the ledges, you see what look to be 2 small gleaming gems. Or they would be gems. But you watch as these gems scurry down the side walls, and you can actually see that there are 2 rats that have it looks like there is this gem that's been placed in the top of their heads. And as they scurry down onto the ground, the gem begins to glow as these swarms of rats then form onto these points of light and turn into these large humanoid shapes that then are staring down at you. So the 2 of you, or you now, Ragni, have emerged yourself in between these 2 large forms that you can see have a head point that is just sort of glowing from where this other new creature may have emerged, may have formed into. So, top of the round is going to be Ragni. And then, Su Long, you are on deck.
Right. So 2 single creatures.
Yes, 2 large single creatures made out of many, many, many other creatures.
Okay. And I'm close to them, I assume?
Yes, they formed right next to you on both sides.
Okay. All right. Flanked. We've got people with armor and such, so I will bonus action and I'll bonus action, step into the shadow, step out behind my friends, because I'm assuming it's all dim light down here.
Oh yeah,
okay,
for sure.
And as I step out, I bring up my hands, and as I bring up my hands, darkness flows from them, forming a crossbow. And at the tip of the crossbow, there's a small white core that's like white hot, and then there's purple flames crackling around it. And I take one of the creatures and I just shoot it at him. It's my firebolt spell.
Okay.
And here you go. 23 to hit.
That'll hit. Roll for damage.
All right. 7 points of fire damage.
Woo! Okay. This creature does not look pleased by the damage it has received. All right. Anything else for your turn? Because that was action, bonus
No.
action? Okay.
It's actually, yeah.
Got it. Su Long, it is your turn with a swarm golem on deck.
How far away are they?
They look like they're maybe about 15 feet away from where you are.
Cool. Sulong pulls out what looks like a dagger, but it has on the hilt a crescent moon. He throws it forward, kicks it slightly, and it boom expands to a halberd.
Halberd.
Ooh,
Halberd.
a halberd.
Halberd. And he just spins it around and waits for them to come.
Okay. So you're taking a ready action if they come up towards you that you're going to lay on some hurt?
Yeah. Well, I do have the sentinel feat, so if they move within range of me, they are going to take an attack of opportunity.
Okay. Sounds good. So Next up is the first of these creatures, and they are going to begin taking steps forward towards your group, as it seems, as Ragni doing the shadow burst and Viper saying we need to kill them all may have alerted them as to your guys' intentions. If the mind scan didn't do extra on that. So this creature, the first one that has been afflicted by these flames, is going to come up towards, I believe Lingo was in front. It was Lingo and Viper.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna take my reaction against him to whap.
Okay.
Halberd +7. 23?
That'll hit. Roll for damage.
I should have got these dice prepped earlier. Here we go. Ooh, max damage. 14 points of slashing.
Ooh. Okay. So that looks good. So yeah, you bring your halberd down across its chest, and it kind of rears back. Yep.
And his movement is dropped down to 0.
Yeah. Thankfully, he is still, for him anyways, he's still within hitting range of, at this point, would be Viper. Lingo was a little bit farther back, but Viper had taken some steps forward to try and reason with the rats. God, I love Dungeons and Dragons. So it is going to try and strike out against you, Viper. Does a 14 hit?
Nope.
All right. What about a 24?
Yes.
Okay. So it is then going to do a slam attack against you. Bring the slam pajamas.
Ooh, no.
For a total of 15 points of damage.
All right.
All right, and that is going to be it for its turn. But then next up is the other creature. And it is also going to shamble forward. This time seeing as Su Long has struck out against its friend, it is going to position itself next to Viper and Su Long, where the other is next to Viper and Lingo. And it is going to try and make a strike out. It's actually going to make a strike out against you as well, Viper, as they had been able to kind of... they know what your deal is now, and they are very not pleased. So the first attack, a 10 doesn't hit you. And is a 13?
Nope.
Okay, cool.
No, it doesn't.
Alrighty, so both of them fail at what they are trying to do, or at least both of those attacks. So Viper, it is your turn.
All right. I'm going to attack one of them.
Okay.
The one that Su Long attacked.
Okay.
That's the one I will attack.
And that is also the one that has been has taken fire damage as well.
Cool. Is that significant?
No, well, I mean, just because of hit point ratio.
This
is currently the more injured one.
Yes, and as a tactician, I would. Yes. 23.
23 hits. You guys have each rolled a 23 against this guy. This is bullshit.
Well-oiled machine.
Yes.
We work together. Or not at all. 12 slashing damage, and I'm going to use my bonus action to attempt to shove them prone. Is that something you can do with this, with a swarm?
I don't see.
Do they have?
Yeah,
it would be under condition immunity.
Yeah, they are prone to being, or they are immune to being prone.
They're prone to being immune.
Yeah, they're prone to being immune. Wait a second.
All right, then I will not do that. Instead, I will use my bonus action. I made a nice little flowchart here because I have so many gosh darn bonus actions. Use my bonus action to instead slap over at Su Long, and I'm going to use a superiority die to give him some more temporary hit points with a rally.
10 hit points don't stack.
Oh shit! Then I won't do that. God, crap!
The flowchart is broken.
The flowchart broke. Okay, bardic inspiration then.
Okay.
For Lingo because it's his turn next.
Ooh, awesome.
Alrighty. Yep. Next up, Lingo.
Are any of them within If I were to move backwards, would I invoke an opportunity attack?
From one of them, yes. And it is
One of
the more injured looking one. And it's hard to tell injury on a swarm creature, but this one looks like it has less rats on it than the other one does.
I am going to risk it because I want to keep my bonus action for something cool. And I'm just going to move backwards. And I will take that opportunity attack.
Okay. Sounds good. So it is going to try and strike out against you.
I use my reaction to invoke, I use my reaction. I have protection. I'm going to make that a disadvantage with my shield.
Okay.
It all works out anyway.
Does a 10
Buffs!
hit you?
A 10 does not hit me.
No, because you're a rogue and your dex is silly.
Yeah, and a Warforged, which is even more silly.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Your dex is fine. Your AC's fine. So yeah, you see it try and strike out against you, but it is unable to.
Wings.
Yeah.
Lingo takes a few steps back and then says, calculating optimal attack and beep beep boop. And I am going to take a shot at the uninjured one
Okay.
with my heavy crossbow as his
Sounds
arm turns into it.
Nice.
And big money,
No whammies.
no whammies. That is a natural 20.
Nice.
Oh!
Optimal. Okay.
And there is an ally within 5 feet of this creature, so you will have your sneak attack. All your sneak attack die
Yes.
double as well, because rogues are silly.
Okay. 16. So let's see. Now I gotta roll my damage, my sneak attack. Hold on one moment.
That's right. You went full rogue, so you've got
Yeah.
the max amount of sneak attack damage that you could possibly have.
Okay. That is 47 points of piercing damage. Lingo's vision focuses in on the gem in the middle of this rat golem.
Okay.
Lets out a bolt.
It's a law rocket. It's not a
Yeah.
crossbow.
You just fire a laser from the middle of your
This
face.
is fucking Mega Man at this point. I'm okay with that. Yeah, so you watch as this bolt sails through and actually catches the rat that had the gem in its head, and it just sort of tumbles to the ground. And as it does, you watch as this large form actually dissipates and turns back into these large swarms of rats. And it seems like there are 2 rat swarms now. Now that their gem-headed leader is no longer in the mix.
Wasn't there 2 gem-headed rats?
There is. So there's
But
one that's still a large form, but the other one, after the gem-headed rat had been taken care of, now is split down into 2 large rat swarms.
It's reached its second form.
It's like a
This isn't even my
new.
final form. And then Lingo is going to use their bonus action to do Master of Tactics, which lets me help as a bonus action within 30 feet, granting the next person advantage on their next attack. And as Ragni is going next, Lingo, I guess, like chirps out targeting information in Celestial to Ragni in the
Nice.
cipher we have.
Okay.
So you have advantage on your next attack roll.
Sweet.
All right.
And I have my turn because that's all I can do.
Top of the round, Ragni.
So, all right, I'm up. I will. I have advantage on my next attack. It's better to use the firebolt crossbow. So, same thing. Pull my hands. Crossbow forms. I'll fire a bolt with advantage. Let's use this. 21 hit the one that is still a swarm golem.
Okay. Yeah, that'll totally hit it.
All right, and 7 fire damage.
Okay. Yeah, so this one kind of like brings up its arms as it does, and a lot of it, its body takes a lot of the force of this hit, and you can see that now charred rats are beginning to fall off of it, but it's still able to kind of maintain its shape, but it definitely doesn't look as hefty or full as it once did. Because that 7 was pretty good. All right, so
Hefty.
Whippy, whippy, whippy.
It's no 47 cannon arm damage.
all right.
Rogues, man.
So,
Rogues.
then next up is going to be Su Long, and then after you is going to be these rats.
Kind of looks at the swarm, looks at the big guy, puts 2 and 2 together. We should take out the swarms first. And then he just like starts wailing on the ground with his halberd.
Okay.
First attack. 21.
21 will hit.
Okay. Dealing. How much is that? 1d10. 11 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
And I'm going to burn one of my War Priest attacks to use my bonus action to make another attack action against the opposite swarm.
Nice. You said you dealt 10 damage on the first one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh. That's a natural 20.
Nice.
Guys.
Is much better than Bugbear's Bears or
Yeah.
Bugbear's Brews. Bugbear's Bears.
Bug Brews Bears is
Oh.
the next game that we play, which is Honey Heist.
Yes.
But
Honey
it's all a
Heist.
bunch of bears.
Yes.
No, it's where we take a ragtag group of misfit bears that are playing in a softball game, and we train them.
I want to play bear ball so bad.
Oh,
now.
sorry.
Fireball.
So he slams into one horde, turns, and then slams into the other one for 18 points of slashing.
All right. So the second swarm, as you bring your halberd down, is actually there's enough of this kind of divine follow through from you using your war cleric abilities that as you bring it through, this group of rats all just melts like butter almost. Your halberd blade just sinks right through the majority of them in a large sweeping motion, and that swarm is gone. They have been completely removed from this combat, which makes things
And you
easy because
hear
then I don't have to.
Sulong just go, third stance, Ikazuchi.
God damn it.
I told you I was going to go full weave in this
I
episode.
love it so much. So then next up is the more injured looking one. And it is going to extend or it's not even going to extend, it's just going to kind of turn its head focus towards you, Lingo. I would like for you to make a wisdom save
Oh boy.
as the gem in this one's head begins to glow.
Wob, 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 wob. All right. Wisdom save.
There's a wealth of wisdom in that noggin.
Yes, that is a 23 on my wisdom save.
So
Natural 19.
you feel invasive thoughts coming in, and these are the kinds of thoughts that you know are not yours. This is not part of your standard programming, as the thoughts that you were getting involved hurting your friends, which just doesn't seem like something that you would do. That would bring about a optimized risk of failure at this mission, and that's not going to happen.
Fatal runtime error.
Yep.
Memory dump overload.
Yeah, their spell encounters a crash against you and is unaffected. And that is all that it can do on its turn. So then next up is this swarm on the ground that is going to try and bite out against Su Long. As he has been doing pretty good work. So Su Long, does a 14 hit?
No.
Probably not. Yep. So yeah, these rats begin to swarm you and try and bite onto you, but your armor prevents their small rat teeth from doing any real damage against you. And then next up after that is going to be Viper.
Okay. Do I get the idea that these gem-headed rats have a direct line to Syrus at all?
Make a perception check.
Oh, no, that's not me. Okay, sorry, I've got everybody else's. I was like, I don't remember my perception being that high.
Oh, it was me then.
It was you. A 9.
Okay.
So.
All right. So yeah, as you're looking at these, you're trying to see if you can even get a glimpse at what this gem looks like. But because your human eyes are not exactly the best at being able to see in darkness that you have found yourself in, you aren't really able to get a good look at what this is. So if there was a kind of symbol or marking on this gem, you wouldn't be able to pick it out through the swarm of creatures.
What can you do? Human tax. All right, well, I'm going to attack the gem-headed rats.
Okay.
19.
Okay, 19 will hit. Roll for damage.
Here it comes. Minimum damage. 7 slashing damage.
Okay.
And it worked well the last time. I'm gonna Bardic Inspire Lingo again.
Okay.
Oh no, actually he still has his Bardic
Yeah, I
Inspire.
still have it because
This one's for Sulong then.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, as you swing your sword towards this gem that's in what looks to be more of like a head-like shape for a humanoid, you actually watch as it sinks down into the chest area, and as your sword cleaves through, you watch as other rats fly off from this what would normally be a decapitating strike. But then you watch as more of them form out of the body and then reform the head with the with that glowing, pulsing energy coming from the middle again. And it's looking very worse for wear at this point. Next up is... That was Viper, so Lingo, it is your turn.
Lingo again. So pulling, loading in another bolt into their arm. Just going to take another shot at the golem, going for the gem.
Hit those jemmies.
Yes. Time to rustle those jammies. Come on, that was a softball. That was a softball right there. Okay.
I just typed family jewels into chat, so I got you covered.
Thanks, GP. I appreciate it.
Try to cover.
Does a 17 hit?
A 17 does hit. Roll for damage. And you'll still have sneak attack because this is still accosting your friends.
Right. Okay. Regular damage. Let's see. So that's... Hold on. I didn't get out my whole dice bag because I didn't want to sort through all the D6s. 30 piercing damage.
So
rogues.
Yes.
You blast out with your hand cannon again. We can call it a crossbow if you want, but like
It's a Mega Man charge buster, let's be fair.
Yeah, you blast somebody with your arm crossbow. And as your bolt sinks in, you are going to be dealing the final blow on this creature. So how would you like to describe this?
Yeah, it is just, again, and Lingo doesn't have pupils, but if you were to be watching from Lingo's perspective, like there's a crosshair following the gem as that one rat is weaving its way through. And so it's just tracking, ka-chunk, optimal firing solution acquired, ka-chunk.
Oh yeah.
Bolt goes straight in and shatters the gem.
So your bolt sinks in, and as it sails outside of this creature, you see that there are about like 5 or 6 rats that have all been shish kebabbed onto this one crossbow bolt that then sinks onto the ground nearby. Ragni, there's still a small group of rats that are all just next to Sulong. What would you like to do about them?
I will. Is there a way that I can get my shadow burst to cover them without hitting Sulong?
Yeah, if you just go next to them.
Around him?
Yeah, if you go around him, you should be fine.
All right. I'm going to assume my 55 feet of movement, I can get there.
Oh, yeah.
I zip there. Actually, he probably does like the parkour up the wall thing, and then as he lands, he collapses or snaps, and it boom, it bursts out. The little black tendrils all slapping at rats, and they need to make a Dex 13 save.
Well, that's a 4, and they're just rats, so I'm gonna say that's a no.
All right,
Just rats.
they each take 10 points of damage.
Alrighty, so your shadow burst fans out, and any of the rats that were in this cluster, or any of the ones that had tried to actually reform or do something after this glowing rat had been taken care of in the other golem, all meet their end at this shadow burst as you land, as every single rat in this area just collapses, no longer moving. And as you guys stand there and take in this very disgusting smelling air, as not only do you have burnt rat from the fire bolts initially, but also raw sewage, I would like for you guys to make perception checks as you kind of look at these rats that you had found in the sewers.
13.
Dirty 20.
9.
18.
All right, so there is only one rat that is left that you can really see this on, as the crossbow bolt had managed to take out the other glowing rat that was inside of this large swarmed creature. But as you look at the body, you realize that it wasn't a gem that had actually been placed inside of or atop this rat's skull, but instead you see that the actual bone around where the head of the rat is missing, and there was an exposed brain that seems to be a little bit larger than the average rat-sized brain. And you would know who got the 20? Lingo, you scanning through your memory banks know these creatures to be cranium rats.
What would I know about cranium rats?
Well, we can answer that question when we come back from our break.
Our first break.
Our first break! So, I'd like to say thank you to everybody who has decided to stop by for this adventure so far. Thank you to you wonderful players for putting up with my bullshit every week. I'm very excited to continue where we pick off after this break. So, we are going to try and be back in 5 to 10 minutes, so don't go no place unless it is to grab a food, grab a drink, grab a friend, or possibly go to bit.ly/adventure merch and pick yourself up either a wonderful t-shirt that has Blake's scars, an excellent mug, an Indoor Adventures t-shirt, or something. It's all good stuff. I made sure that it is of the highest caliber for all of you, because I want to, if I'm selling you something, I want to be able to also buy it, because that's half the reason we started the store, is because I really wanted merch for me. But
The sweatshirts are so soft. Oh my god.
soft.
They're so thick. I was sweating today. Like, whoa.
It is a good
Thick.
sweatshirt.
Thick.
But with that in mind, we will see you guys in 5 to 10 minutes, so don't go no place. All right, everybody. Bye-bye. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Transmogrification Central. We were singing the "Are You Ready" song from Princess and the Frog at the break. It's very fun.
Turned
But
out we were ready.
We are ready. But to start things off, we had a question that was left off last time, which was Lingo asking the voice in the sky, how much do you know about these cranium rats? As the four of you, while wandering through the sewers, had quickly slain two large swarm golems that seemed to be controlled by what you had thought was gem-headed rats, only to discover that these rats had their open brains showing. So, Lingo, make a Arcana or a History check.
Ooh. Arcana or History. I have the same modifier for either of those. That's not bad. That is an 18.
Okay.
Oh, good.
All right. So, these rats, you have heard about situations where rats like these have been problems in the past. But it's always
I suppose I'm more curious, like, are they placed here? Would Lingo know about whether or not they've been placed here, or do they naturally occur?
They do naturally occur, but not in the way that a horse just naturally occurs by making more horses. This is a creation. This is a perversion of the rat form by a extraplanar creature that is known as an illithid. And these illithids typically will create these kinds of cranium rats as either guards or sentries, or as a means of possibly controlling a town populace. As these creatures, as you had felt the effect kind of wash over you, these small creatures are capable of casting very powerful magics that allows them to actually dominate the thoughts and minds of larger creatures. And you know that these would have been placed here, or at least sent here, to act as a silent guard. And if anybody potentially tried to get by, possibly they could have used their magical abilities to either send them back or send them in deeper to meet with their master.
I pull the crossbow bolt and I turn to the rest of the party. Analysis. Our presence here may be known. Unsure, unable to detect any outgoing signals.
If there's even 1% of a chance that they know that we're here, we have to assume that they do.
So, we go, or
We move fast.
Yes.
stealth and speed?
Okay. So VIPRE, make another survival check with advantage.
$16.
Okay. So with your 16, you know where to go at this point. At least to the nearest surface point. And as you lead your party, the rest of you can just kind of hear as you begin to scour through these sewer chambers. But you hear very sporadically, very intermittent, but always in your mind, the daughter, the daughter, the daughter. As it seems like these rats are relaying messages to each other as you guys continue about your way. Until eventually you find a chute that you know if you went up would lead to an opening that would set you out into the keep itself. You would no longer be traveling within the shade and stealth opportunities that the sewer gives, but you know that this is one of the closest exits to where you actually need to go. And do you guys continue to look around for another exit, or are you just trying to go up this?
Lingo holds up a hand, and Lingo is going to listen specifically for sounds of alarm coming from above.
Okay. Make a perception check.
Okay. 25.
Okay. So with a 25, you can hear the sound of heavily armored boots that seem to be running against stone coming from above, but they just seem to kind of be spreading out. They don't necessarily seem to be targeting your location directly.
I relay this information back to the team. And I say, tactical analysis. Location remains unknown. Advised course of action. Other entrance. More hidden.
Then let's keep moving.
So, Viper, are we killing the gods, or are we just going straight for the king?
The only life you need to spare is the king's daughter.
Fair.
Everyone else is free game.
I like those rules. Mm.
All right. So make another survival check with advantage.
I'm not actually good at these.
Can I help?
I
I can't get super advantage.
Oh, right. He already
Yeah.
has advantage. Never mind.
9.
Okay. So yeah, you
Ouch.
manage to you wander around for a while, but every time you go to where you think a good exit for where you're trying to go might be, you look up and you can actually see kind of shadowed forms of guards that are quickly running by. So you're just not very confident in a lot of the options that you have set out in front of you, but you do eventually find your way to a much larger chamber underneath inside of the sewers, where you believe that this is more of like a centralized hub. And looking up, you can see that there is a large grate, and there is just this the overcast, grim sky that you typically associate with the nation of Botan hangs heavily above you. It's still daytime outside, but you guys can see that there is a possible way out. However, this grate does stand about 60 feet up from where you guys are. But it is a clear way out. It's just at the apex of a dome, so there's no clear way to be able to scrabble up to it.
Moment of silence as everybody digs through their equipment.
Agni, can you get up there?
You're muted, GB.
Yeah, of course.
If you can get me up there, and I hold up a finger, and it turns into a lockpick.
That I don't think I can do.
Perhaps tie a rope.
Yeah, let me okay.
Having flashbacks. Viper does really well with rope.
Long does really well with the rope too.
So it's the apex of the dome, and it's a grate.
Yeah, there is a
Okay.
crosshatch gate up at the top that it looks like you could possibly loop a rope through, if you would so like to try.
I will have a rope in my paws, and I'll shoot through shadow, because it's got to be, because it's light coming in from above, and then I'll immediately like clang onto it and grab on, and then slip the rope through as close to an edge as I can. So any passerbys, the loop isn't like in the middle of the grate; it's at the edge, and then once I have that looped, he'll sort of do a Circus Olay sort of deal where he wings himself down, acrobatically, winging himself through the rope, and then he lands and points at the rope to Lingo.
Ragni, make a perception check while you're up at the top.
Oh yeah. Not that bad at it, but I'm on the wrong menu. Perception. So 17.
Okay, you actually do not see a lock on this grate as you're hanging up there, keeping yourself up. It looks like it is a pull up on the gate, and so they never really assumed that somebody would be coming through the sewers and then trying to like jangle it. But looking around, you can see that it looks like you are in a small courtyard. And that to the side, you can actually see what looks to be almost like a servant's entrance, maybe into a kitchen or a back room of sorts. But you are able to actually see that there are a variety of shadows that you could be able to move towards. And there aren't many guards out here, if any, from what you were able to see.
So are any of those shadows like 60 feet away?
Yeah, you'd be able to end up transferring over to there.
Okay, then I will, as I start to tie the rope, quickly goes through his head, like, we could tie the rope on this end and put it over there by the hinges and then pull and it would flap open and blah, 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 all this. And then he goes, oh, there's shadows. And then he just kind of blinks out. He blinks out and then he just disappears to you guys. And then I guess I'll be in the shadows and I'll look around first.
And this is a very small little courtyard.
Okay.
Make a stealth check.
Sure.
As you kind of appear in the shadows across the way.
Oh, if only I had taken my cloak with me. It's still 19.
Okay. So as you appear in the shadows, that is when you see that there is that there are some people that are walking by the courtyard farther off from where you are. They are maybe about 25, 30 feet away. But they just seem to be walking through the courtyard without a very fierce sense of worry. And you see that there is what looks to be a kind of more armored knight that has long brown hair. She has darker skin. That has a hand on a longsword and is addressing a much larger figure that looks like he is wearing very heavy plate mail. And she says, just, what is the matter, my king? And he just brings up a hand and says, we have intruders. We should find them. Bring them to me if you can. And she just kind of continues to nod and says that she will inform the rest of the guard as the two of them continue to walk until eventually you see them pass through another entrance kind of down the way.
Okay. And when I bamfed in on the side, as soon as I thought there were people, I had of disguised as because bonus action is the moving, so hat of disguise as my action. I turn into like a gardener or a beekeeper.
Okay.
And
imagine, if you will, a dark beekeeper.
He's very dark, mysterious. All right, and then
it's a veil.
It's exactly. Instead of a white mesh, it's all black. Like a funeral veil. So I go over to to where the grate is, and I will attempt to hoist it open.
Okay. Yeah, you managed to hoist the grate open, no problem. And the three of you that are down in the sewer just see your friend poke his head over the side after lifting up the grate.
And then I'll begin to tie the rope.
Yeah. And you put the rope down, so the three of you who are still down in the sewers will need to make a set of strength checks, strength athletics, in order to be able to climb up this rope.
How about acrobatics?
Acrobatics is for the way down, not the way up.
Oh.
Sure.
We could always hoist you up, VIPRE.
Big money. Oh, wait. I still have inspiration if this goes poorly, which it did. All right.
If you could see her eyes right now, she's having like flashbacks.
What is your inspiration die, VIPRE?
D6.
D6 because I need it. That is a 14.
Okay. Yeah, so with the 14, you manage. It does take you a while, and at a certain point, you can feel the ropes beginning to slink down on your metallic hands, but you manage to, like, your fingers extend out in tiny little barbs that act as grippers, and you manage to just hold onto the rope before you fall. And if you had lungs and could breathe, you would probably take a deep breath, but there is just this moment of silence as you process. And then you continue back up as you make your way out of the sewers.
You know.
Lingo has encountered a problem.
Oh no, that's gonna be a Knights in the Courtyard moment. Okay.
Uh-oh.
All right, so Sulong, are
20
you going
and
next?
2. Yeah, he got 22.
Okay. Yeah, you managed to climb this, no problem.
One-handed.
Which just leaves Viper at the bottom of this sewer area, and the rest of you standing in this courtyard.
She's gonna loop it around her waist and let the rest of the crew drag her up there.
Yoink.
All right. Who is the strongest boy out of all of you?
It's Sulong! Sulong is the strongest boy. Everybody else is dex-based.
Okay, so Sulong.
This is true.
Roll with advantage. As the rest of your party is going to try and help you be able to do this.
18.
Okay. Yeah, so Viper, you managed to get this rope cinched around you real nice and tight, and you hold on to it, and you have it kind of like a bucket harness. So you're just sitting down, holding onto the rope as you feel yourself getting pulled up. And until eventually you are pulled out of the sewers as well, and you are standing in a courtyard. A courtyard that you would know is actually adjacent to the King's Chamber.
All right. She'll roll deftly to her feet.
Undo
You
the
said
bucket
that
harness.
there's a servant's entrance.
Looking at it, it seems like this servant's entrance actually leads into a more enclosed kitchen, or there's just not very much going on. You don't actually see anybody working there. And kind of looking, after kind of cracking open the door and peeking in, you see that a lot of the utensils here have dust kind of covering over them. It doesn't look like these have been used in a while.
So there's no one working.
Nope.
I don't like that.
Lingo has a plan. Lingo has a plan and a cool moment idea.
Okay.
Lingo is going to make a hand motion at everyone to wait, and they're going to go hunting for like a servant of some kind.
Okay.
If at all possible, they're going to try and find a servant. Moving stealthily, of course.
Sure. Make a perception check.
Okay. 22.
Okay. Yeah. So make a stealth check as well, as the keep is currently on high alert.
Yeah, that is a 29.
Oh my god. So this stealthy robotic man is just slinking through the keep, and eventually you find a small, it's almost like a janitor's closet, and you just sort of slink in and wait. As you had seen coming around the corner, that there was a servant that had a bucket full of old water that they were in the process of either taking over to a grate to throw down into the sewage system, or on their way to clean something. But you wait until they are right in front of the door, and the door just opens up. You grab them in and pull them back into the shadows with you.
And from the top of Lingo's two hands, there's two like 8-inch blades sticking out because they've got two daggers. So why not? And Lingo's just gonna put them on ice.
Okay.
Just gonna ice them.
Sounds good.
And
Serve it down.
as Lingo's holding them, a red light comes out of his eye and scans the face. of this person, and I'm going to use my disguise kit to disguise myself as the servant.
That's amazing. It's so creepy.
Rad.
I love.
I hate.
Let's see. So disguise kit, is that Dex plus proficiency modifier?
Yes, that would be either. Well, it's either a deception or a sleight of hand.
Okay, I will use sleight of hand.
Ugh. Sorry. I had to chill.
Yeah. And okay, that's a 25.
Oh yeah, you're fine.
It just the face morphs into whatever type of person the servant was. And a la Hitman, I steal their clothes because I can't replicate those.
Okay. Thankfully, this servant was around your height. And the face that you kind of adopt has baggier eyes, a longer nose, very thin features. And you can see that it is like it's like an old-timey bowl cut where it has the fierce bangs, but then it kind of poofs up towards the sides of the hair into almost like a mushroom style haircut.
So like Coconut Head from Ned's middle school survival
Declassified?
guide.
Yeah.
Declassified survival guide.
I never saw that show, but sure, if that's what he
Okay.
looks like to you, that's what he looks like, and we'll run with it.
Right? Are you getting me, RJ?
From the
Right.
Legend of Zelda beetle.
Beetle. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Kind of like that. I was thinking more of like the boy who loves berries and cream from the old Starburst commercials.
Berries and cream. Berries and cream. I'm a
This
little
is
lad
the-
who loves berries.
He was like that. He looked
I
like
see.
that, but as a servant.
Someone
So-
died.
Yeah. So a couple minutes later, you all see the door to the servants' quarters open.
He was 3 days away from retirement.
Yep. Well, that's what he gets for working for an asshat. So, you see the door to the servants' quarter opens, and out walks a servant with the bucket of water, and just turns and immediately looks at all of you, and the face like flickers to Lingo's,
Oh,
and then goes back.
Sulong had brought out like a steel fan, and he was about to throw it at Lingo.
Yeah, and Viper's like got her hand out and she just like slowly lowers it.
I have acquired us a disguise.
Excellent.
You have acquired yourself a disguise.
Ragni.
We cannot hear
And-
you. You are muted.
Yes,
Ragni knows exactly what to do.
I do.
Yeah, I imagine this is something that we've done before. You've got a hat of disguise, bro.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was already the beekeeper. What do you want me to be now?
Whatever you want to be, man.
Oh, I'm
Like,
still the beekeeper then.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
All right.
What's the beekeeper doing inside? Is there bees here?
Oh, fine. Good thing.
There are, and that's the problem. That's why you need a
That's
beekeeper.
why I'm in here. 'Cause there's bees.
Get the
Look,
You
bees
got the
out.
deception to back that
and,
up.
and I use minor illusion to make bees.
Amazing.
This is our fucking party, guys.
I mean, these are our players.
they're very dark bees. They're like wasps. or something.
They got like little cigarettes and biker jackets.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe a lip piercing or a
Pompadours.
stinger
Oh
piercing.
my god, bees with pompadours. That's what it is.
These
Yeah,
are
we're
probably
like
is the name of my next
like
band.
a biker gang.
Guys, by the way, nope. Knights of the Courtyard.
Knights. We'll do
Nice.
Knights of the Court. Sorry, this is a very serious game. We're assassins. We're going
Yes.
to kill my dad. Everybody, let's do this.
What?
Excuse me. Hold on. I misspoke.
You are privileged guests. Analysis, cover story, creating. Beep, 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 beep. Bzzz. Cover story.
Gross.
Privileged guests.
Did you just print?
Yes.
Yes.
You just print our cover story out your
Like a
mouth?
little receipt.
Little ticker tape. I love it.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Spinning.
A zebra printer.
God. Don't
All right.
don't talk to me about zebra printers. Great. Jeez.
Sorry,
All right.
man.
This is our story. Sulong and I are ambassadors.
Smelly ambassadors.
Sure. That's it. I'm from Jocasta. He's from the
Botan?
Czar?
We're in currently
Bernard?
Botan.
there's 4 names written in front of me. He's from the House of Shen. So that's our cover story.
I mean,
He is from the House of Chen.
It's not really a cover story if we're telling them the truth.
He's dressed like he's from the House of Shen. What am I supposed to tell them?
All right. And
I'm dressed like I'm from Jocasta, so there you go.
I'll change myself to look like a documancer for them.
Okay. Got
Excellent.
your official documancer satchel.
Yep. Yeah, the little writing desk deal, you know, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're still gonna, try to go about this stealthily and not be seen. This is just a backup plan for if we are seen. And the backup plan for the backup plan is murder. So I hope you guys are ready for this.
I have already committed murder.
what?
I killed the servant. I took his face.
Literally cut it right up.
It puts the lotion on the skin.
Exactly.
All right. So
This is the way things are in the Warring Nations.
you guys make your way. Which direction are you going? Ragni, are you directing them towards where you saw the imposing individual and the knightly looking individual, or are you going a different way?
Well, since VIPRE, did you inform us that the bedchamber's right here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Just
Then
assume whatever information. I guess don't assume anything
Okay.
about information being shared. But
And then- I'll say I saw Botan and his retainer go that direction. They know-
Botan?
They know the king. They know that there's intruders about. They're looking for us.
and
Amazing.
that will make our job easier.
GB rolled his eyes like, what? But
Sulong rolled his eyes like, what?
If they're looking for us, if Botan is looking for us, and we're looking for Botan, if either one of us succeeds, then our goal is met.
Fair.
go nuclear and be done.
Tactical analysis. Lay ambush. Bait. Perhaps.
Where do I think he would look for us first?
You know that he is most likely going to be going to his the large kind of central hall where again his throne would be, where he generally meets other people, as that is kind of the central hub for his command post. So that way if other guards or other members of this militaristic faction come up, then he can easily direct them and send them off places. And you know that that is typically where he would be in situations like this, in the most secure room within the hold.
Great. Is there that place? I mean, I guess you did say secure. I was gonna ask, that place wouldn't happen to have a conveniently placed skylight, would it?
It does not have a skylight, no.
Okay. How about multiple floors?
You know that there is a second floor that kind of overlooks, and that is more used for presentations when he would be speaking to large numbers of people, so that way they could kind of fill in the banisters up top.
Great. Would there be a window to be able to get to that second floor?
There would not be, as those stairs are located inside of the room that allow you to just kind of get onto that second ledge.
How about back doors?
You know that there would be one back door, but it goes to a chamber that is underneath. That's more of like a safe room.
Not a bad decision, but I can see it going wrong. Still better than just walking in the front door. That's where I'm gonna lead my party.
Safe room or front door?
Safe room.
Okay. Yeah, so without any real issue at this point, you know your way around this keep. You manage to you guys make stealth checks as you go.
Guess who just remembered she's wearing splint armor and should be rolling these at disadvantage? Ho-ho.
Quick, Lingo, give her your cloak.
I mean,
Cloak's mine.
cold. Wait, I don't have any skin.
He still says, "I'm cold." Just, that's why he doesn't want to give it up.
I am cold.
Not physically, just emotionally.
Yes.
Aw. Now I feel bad for the robot.
Yes.
16.
Okay.
7.
I rolled
20.
a
29.
You really did need that cloak.
I rolled a 7, which is a 14.
Okay. Yeah, so as you guys are making your way to this safe room, VIPRE, as you turn a corner, you have forgotten about one of the large suits of armor that your family had up on display in this general area. And as you go up and turn the corner, you actually bump your shoulder into it and cause the armor to fall down and clatter along the ground. And as it does, the rest of you are very far ahead at this point. You have all kind of sequestered yourselves into the shadows. And you hear shouting from behind you, maybe 50 feet or so, that is asking, "What was that?" "Well, send somebody to investigate then." And you hear the sound of metal-clad feet stomping across the stone, making their way towards you.
Lingo pops his head out of his hiding spot and beckons VIPRE over and like starts running out towards the suit of armor, still disguised.
Yep, VIPRE will run and just switch places with him quickly.
Okay, make another stealth check. This time with advantage because a proper stealth check or a proper stealth spot has already been made for you.
Okay, 15.
Okay, your 15's good. And then Lingo, what are you currently doing? As you
Lingo
watches about 4 or 5 of these individuals are making their way. There's actually 5 of them. Sorry.
Yeah, Lingo starts like trying to put the armor back together and is muttering under their breath, you know, I was like, "Oh, heavens, what will the king do to me? I have a family to feed."
I retire in 3 days.
Stupid Reginald. I'd retire in 3 days, and this is what I do. I disrespect the king's grandfather.
Most likely he'll have a warforged stab me to death.
What a terrible fate.
I hope they haven't found a body yet. That would suck.
And very specific.
Yeah, and so these 5 individuals end up coming up towards you, and they see what you're trying to do. Make a deception check.
I'm not good at these. I'm okay at these. It just happens to be the one charisma skill I have proficiency in. Natural 20.
Nice.
Oh.
So a total of 23.
So
Nice.
they see these guards come up and they hear you muttering and they just say, "Reginald, what are you doing here?
I'm summoned, my lords.
You need to leave. Get out. Go back to your
Yes.
servants' quarters."
Yes, my lord. And then I bugger off back to where I think the servants' quarters are.
Okay, yeah, so you just kind of
don't actually
bow
know.
graciously. Begin.
VIPRE, I'm looking at you like, are we killing these guys?
I'm gonna put up a hand, which means like wait.
Okay.
Wait on my command.
Because you guys know I can drop an area of silence. So,
I can too.
yeah.
Why aren't we doing this? If Lingo goes the wrong way, I'm going to use message to tell him which way the servants' quarters are.
Well, are they watching me as I leave? or
No,
are
they have just
still-
directed you off. They believe you to be the help, so they are no longer paying attention to you after they have given you the initial command. They're not like
I
all
tur-
waiting, like,
Go on.
go on with it.
I turn and I look to where all of my friends are hiding, just in the general direction to see if they're going to do anything about this.
Yeah, and these guards are all kind of talking amongst themselves now, and you see one of them is actually going and like scooping up pieces of armor and setting it back over where the general location is, and is just saying, "Fucking Reginald, this is the third set this week. Only has 3 days till retirement, and he thinks that he can scuff up all this armor."
Walk
prob-
away and circle back. We'll wait until they're gone.
Turns around. I don't think I've made that much gold in my entire life, as much as one of those suits of armor is worth.
All right, Lingo, make a stealth check.
Thank you, advantage. 23.
All right. Yeah, you go around the corner and then just seemingly merge into a shadow. Like, people don't generally pay attention to servants and keeps. So you just kind of like slinking off really doesn't cause anybody any extra alarm. And then the three of you that are in this hall watches the guards all kind of set their armor together, or set the armor together on the ground. And as they are, you actually see at the end of this hallway a door opens up, and a larger imposing figure wearing very thick heavy mail just, "What's going on out here?" And they all straighten up immediately and just, "Your Grace," nod towards him and say, "It would seem as though one of your servants caused this armor to fall over, my lord." And he just looks at them. "Who was it?" And they,
How many guards are there?
Oh no.
5?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to
and-
ask.
you see kind of stepping next to this large armored figure is a darker skinned human female. She has very dark brown hair. Her hand kind of at a longsword at her side with a darker green half cape that kind of comes down towards her left side. And as she comes up, they all again just, "Guard Captain, we are so sorry." And she kind of just watches over them as the large figure says, "You'll tell me his name." And they say, "It was Reginald." And he kind of squints his eyes and then looks over at the guard captain. And she says, "You had him demoted to cleaning toilets last week, your Grace." And he says, "The only place lower shall be in the ground. If you see him again, send him my way."
Oh shit, he's dead.
And all of the guards just, "Yes, your Grace." And he motions with his hand, "Be gone." And they just sort of stand there, and the guard captain says, "You heard your king, go." And they all nod very quickly and then quickly run away.
Steven,
yeah.
I have a question.
Sure.
Do I recognize the guard captain?
You do. You are very familiar with this guard captain. You would know her name to be Reza. Or, yes. No, Tavi. Sorry.
Okay. So when Big Boy comes walking in, VIPRE would immediately be asking Lingo if he has a shot.
I guess, would I? Like, how far down the corridor did I go?
You just went down the hall and then took a quick turn at the nearest open door that you knew would lead to the servants' quarters. And so you are maybe about 60, 75 feet away, and you have watched as these guards just ran down the hallway by you. And listening in, you can hear them continue to go and then around a corner.
Because my crossbow has a close range of 100 feet, so
Yeah, you would totally be able to hit this guy.
She would be about to give the command, and then she would tell him to hold as soon as she saw the guard captain.
At that, you see the large armored figure turn towards the guard captain and motion with his head back towards the door that they were at, and then they both retreat back in, not exchanging any words.
And then they leave?
Yeah, they leave the hallway.
VIPRE curses.
What?
The captain of the guard is his daughter.
Great.
As you know, I don't do well at capture.
Do any of you have any sort of non-lethal? Sorry, she doesn't laugh in character. Do any of you have any sort of non-lethal methods?
I mean,
You see Sulong raise a fist.
I guess Ragni would be like the same kind of thing, like, you know, crack all of his knuckles and...
If we can kill the king, we can try to make her surrender.
I have a shot, but it might not work.
You're...
What are you thinking?
A spell. Paralysis. If that doesn't work, we're going to have to try something different.
I mean, I can stun him temporarily, but it doesn't last long.
Our first priority is Syrus. Put the pressure on him. Leave her to me.
Now, Dungeon Master, I also have proficiency in poisoner's kits because apparently if you make a Warforged rogue, you have proficiency in like every toolkit ever.
Yeah.
Especially a mastermind. They get a lot of stuff to do. I have a lot of toys to play with. Would it be at all possible to maybe have some sort of poison on me that could I make some sort of roll to see if I would come equipped?
Make what kind of poison are you looking for? Like a strong, super strong poison, moderately strong?
A moderate, like non-lethal, like a detaining potion,
Like
or a detaining poison.
Potion?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. Make a survival check with proficiency.
Okay. Let's see. So +7. That's a very good roll. That is a 26.
Yeah, we'll say that you have a sleep potion that will have a DC 12 save with con associated with it.
Okay. Now, when you say potion, would I have to like jam it and force feed it to this person?
No. This is like
it's applied to weapons.
This can be applied to a weapon. It's a single-use poison.
Okay. Lingo comes back and, flashes their normal face just to show everyone that they are indeed Lingo. And
Oh god, he's come back to haunt us.
And where their right hand was the lockpicks, their left hand kind of like the fingers kind of like telescope back, and you see that there's several different like needles hidden underneath the fingers.
Oh, creepy.
And they pluck one of them and hand it to VIPRE, and then they telescope back up to form a complete finger. And Lingo says, suggestion. This may help. Is strong sedative can potentially incapacitate opponent without killing them.
She examines it. Have you used your bardic inspiration yet?
Yes.
Inspiration only lasts 10 minutes, by the way.
Ah,
Yes,
shoot.
I've used it as well.
That's probably gone by now. I'm going to hand it back to Lingo and say, you're going to want to keep that. We have two options now. If these don't work, we will improvise. Any input?
Sulong has like touched his chest, and now his armor is glowing as he casts Shield of Faith. We've gotten awfully good at improvising.
I can potentially. I heard the exchange. I can potentially present as Reginald and draw Botan out into ambush.
I'm not against this.
All right.
Remember, we can always quiet things down or make it dark.
That is also a very good suggestion. Lingo, you don't have dark vision, do you? And your darkness doesn't... You can't make your darkness selective for our party, right?
No, it's dark. it's darkness spell. But I have superior dark vision, 120 feet, so I can see really good at night.
Right. Okay. Don't drop your darkness until we have either succeeded or failed in both of our attempts to drop the captain.
Sounds good.
The big guy busy then.
If there's anything that you can do, it's draw attention to yourself. Let's do this.
So I guess like out of character, the plan might be is to cower in fear as Reginald and then draw Botan out into the hallway.
They're almost certainly going to. Is the plan to try and find Botan and present yourself to him directly, or are we going to try and find a guard and have you dragged to him?
Well, you could have him present himself to Botan, have Ragni drop a silent spell on top of everyone, and then we just go to town.
I just storm in. Like Lingo goes in first to, I guess, like keep Botan's guard down.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I try to get us back to the door and I say a code word.
Well, you wouldn't be able to say, we wouldn't be able to hear anything because if the silent goes down.
Well, then once I say the code word, the silence goes down and you all rush in.
Yeah. So we'll have two code words. One is the celestial word for silence, and the other is the celestial word for darkness.
Okay.
The first thing that you should try to do is get that dart into the captain. If that doesn't work, I'll come in with a whole person. And if that doesn't work, then we're going to have to fight her.
Remember, kids, ranged attacks and spells cannot be subdued, melee only.
Yep. We'll take her. I'll take her on. If it comes to that. I've got melee attacks.
Lingo is going to apply the sleep poison to one of their daggers.
Okay. All right.
All right, but before we do this, is there anything else that anybody else wants to say? I want input because everybody together is going to be as smart as VIPRE.
Again, out of character, you guys would know that I can stun people for a round. I can drop silence. I can drop darkness. Those are the big team oriented things I can do. Otherwise, I just hit real hard.
Does
Okay.
anyone have Hex? Because that would be
Don't.
Nobody's a warlock.
Yeah.
It's generally a good idea to be near VIPRE, as she can like put disadvantage on attacks and stuff,
All right. Well, you guys are figuring this out. I'm gonna use
including
the bathroom
ranged
real quick.
stuff. Yeah, that's
Okay.
Okay,
go ahead.
we will plot.
conspire. But yes, I can my magic item is a special shield. It's a shield of arrow catching, so I can do stuff with ranged attacks as well. So being as close to VIPRE as possible is going to be advantageous.
Basically, just
Okay.
form a phalanx around VIPRE.
Nope.
I can deflect and snatch missiles too. So
I can heal you minorly if I use second wind.
We have to keep in mind that if we are in a silence zone, I can't cast any healing spells.
Yeah.
I can use superiority dice to give you temporary hit points, though.
If we're in a zone of silence, I can't cast spells either.
Wah.
I think that's a risk we should be willing to take, because then more guards can't show up.
I will say this: he's got a reputation for being a sorcerer king.
Yeah,
So
silence.
silence is probably not a bad idea.
Yes,
He's a sorcerer king in full plate, by the way. Just putting it out there.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. So what's
All
the
right.
current plan?
So Lingo goes in as Reginald, and then probably trying to beg for their life in front of Botan, will say the celestial word for silence, which is the cue for the rest of the party to come on in. And then once that happens, then all shit goes loose, I guess.
And then Sulong uses his amulet of fireball and just kills himself.
No, that's not allowed. I know this is a one shot, but no suicide.
Damn it.
that's it. The whole squad
That's when we
goes out.
sunset it.
This-
Yeah.
It's like
No, it is going to be Rogue One.
the D&D cyanide pill is the amulet of fireball.
God damn it.
Yeah.
You have a country to rule.
That's true.
Alrighty. So, Lingo, are you heading down the hall, going up to the door?
Yes.
Alrighty.
And I'm going to very lightly knock, but do the shave and a haircut.
Okay. So, as you do shave and a haircut, when you get to 2-bit, the door opens up, and standing before you is the guard captain. And they look you up and down. Reginald,
Yes, my lady.
the king would like to have a word. And she motions for you to enter into the chamber.
I step inside, quivering in my boots.
And as you
Or my
step
shoe.
inside, she will actually
Slippers.
shut the door behind you.
Remember to shoot her with the dart. I say with a message.
Yeah, she shuts the door to the chamber behind you. And looking around, you can see that there is a large circular table in front of you that has an assortment of papers and maps that look like they are battle maps. And kind of looking at said battle map, you are able to tell that this was that this is showing a plan for Botan to actually expand into Azard. And it looks like the Azardians have rightly guessed that they are next. in this order. And you hear this woman, Tabi, call out and says, "My king, Reginald is here to see you." And you see this large armored figure kind of stand up from a wooden table that he was resting at, and it looked like he had been poring over a book. And he stands up and then looks over towards you, Lingo. And you see that his eyes are just these tiny motes of green fire that just sort of seem to be emanating from his eyes.
Lingo goes into a very deep bow.
And
You sent for me, my lord?
And you don't hear, surprisingly, you do not hear the sounds of heavily armored footsteps. And as you look back up, you see that this figure is just standing right over you. And it leans down until its face is next to yours, and you just see it turn and look, these two green flame motes, till eventually it says, "You are not who you seem to be."
My lord?
And
Oh, no.
he puts a hand out, and he grabs onto your shoulder, and he is going to make a melee attack against you.
Okay. Lingo will start chirping out the celestial word for silence.
Okay, so
that case.
Lingo, does a 19 hit?
Just barely.
Okay. So, that's not so bad. That is going to be 8 points of cold damage. As you see this icicles just begin to form on his fingers, and he sinks them into your shoulder. And again, very stone-faced, just looks at you.
Mm.
This is a poor disguise. You do not even bleed.
Yeah, Lingo. Yeah, so Lingo starts chirping out the celestial word. Just
Just
beep beep beep
yelling
beep
it.
beep 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 beep.
Okay. Yeah, so the rest of you make perception checks.
Oh no.
Oh.
This better go well. Oh no.
$18.
Okay.
Well, Lingo was really fun to have around, and
Yeah, so Viper and Sulong, both of you hear your friend chirping in
Okay.
the other room. And it is the chirp for silence, you said?
Yep.
Okay.
I message to Ragni now. Do it now.
Sulong is throwing off the cloak of elvenkind, and he's running towards the door.
Okay.
Dramatic.
All right, so as you guys all rush towards the door, I'd like for everybody to roll initiative.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, that's actually really helpful for me. They both rolled the same
God.
number.
You stop that.
You didn't say high number. You just said the same number.
All right, so Sulong, what'd you get?
RJ?
I can't tell if he's frozen or just zoning really hard.
Oh.
Sorry, what's up?
Initiative. What'd you get?
Oh, 19.
Okay.
Sorry, zoned really hard.
That's okay. Ragni.
18.
Okay. Viper.
8.
Excellent. And Lingo.
19.
I swear I have good initiative. I'm just rolling poorly.
Okay.
Lingo probably has better decks than I do.
So, Lingo, you were going to be going first because I'm pretty sure you do have better decks than
Yes.
Sulong does. You are
Yes.
also right on this guy.
Okay, where is the guard captain?
The guard captain is standing maybe 10 feet away, arms folded, just watching.
Okay, I am going to cunning action disengage,
Okay.
and then a blade appears, and I'm going to point my fist at the guard captain, and I'm going to shoot my dagger at her.
Okay.
I'm throwing my dagger. It's just gonna eject from my fist.
Make an attack roll.
God, I love this character so much.
Lingo's silly.
This is so much fun. Okay. And this is the poison dagger.
Yes.
BT dubs. Yeah, okay. That is a 19 to hit.
Just hits.
Oh,
All right. So roll for damage. She wasn't expecting you to do this or a human to shoot a dagger out of their hand. So I'll say that she is surprised enough for you to get sneak attacks on.
Oh, fuck yeah.
where he gets like 50 damage and kills her outright.
No, I can't. I cannot deal quite that much. Okay, let's see. So dagger damage. Oh, hey, max damage.
Oh, come on!
It's a D4. Okay, VIPRE.
Plus sneak attack is she's surprised.
Yeah. Let's see. Now rolling sneak attack. Okay, not bad. That is going to be 21 piercing damage,
Ooh.
and she has to make a Constitution saving throw, DC 12.
You got 13.
Fudge nuggets.
I was
And
worried
she
about that.
Just takes like your blade sinks into the split of her plate armor and just sinks into her shoulder. And she in surprise, she grabs at it, not expecting a dagger to fucking shoot out of a dude's hands.
Yep.
And at that, the Syrus then just kind of stands up and looks over at you. Sulong, you are rushing down the hallway. What would you like to do?
I'm going to flying kick the door. Is it a push or pull?
It is a pull.
From what side?
It is a pull going in, so if you did a high jump kick at the door, it would burst open.
Yes, that's my interact.
Okay. I'll accept that. They didn't lock it.
Yeah. So you see Sulong flying jump kick, kicks the door open. You see him halberd in one hand. He pulls out the metal fan that he has and he throws it at the king.
Okay.
Ooh.
Ow. Natural one.
Womp womp.
Womp womp. You see the fan open up, spin around the king's head, and come back to Sulong, and he catches it.
Boomerang.
It's a boomerang.
Come back.
And this creature doesn't even move. Syrus doesn't even move when you throw it at him.
I thought that was gonna work a lot better than it did. On guard.
And he just sort of tilts his head towards you and says on his turn, I do not like intruders. And he extends his hand out, and in an upwards motion, you see a shimmering wall appear at the doorway behind you as he casts a wall of force.
No. No.
And then he looks at Tiva and says, kill this one. And he points over towards Sulong. And then says, I have experiments I would like to do on the other.
Ooh.
So that is it for his turn. Then it is Tiva, who is going to take 2 steps forward and swing out towards you, Lingo.
I take is she close enough for me to take a reaction attack on her?
She is, yes.
Yes. Can I make this a duel?
Sure.
Why not? Please. Ooh. Does a 26 hit?
Oh, totally.
Okay, cool.
You're fine.
Thank God. 14 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
Ooh.
Sounds
That was
good.
max.
She cries out in pain. as she takes that. All right. She's looking mighty hurt from the dagger and the halberd, and her advance forward has stopped. And she is unable to actually like make an assault towards Lingo. So then next up is going to be Ragni.
So can I make an Arcana check or something to know if the Wall of Force is a fire and forget or if it is a concentration?
You can make an Arcana check for that.
All right. Oh, 19 plus something.
You would know that a spell like that requires concentration.
Excellent. All right.
All right.
So with that, if it's available, I'll shadow step in behind the king.
Yeah.
And bam, kidney punch him for a stun.
Okay.
Or try to anyway.
Yeah,
and
try.
When I appear from shadows, I do have advantage on the first attack. So, red die, where are you?
Oh no.
A 1 and a 7. Yeah, I don't imagine he has a 14 armor class.
No, he does not. But as your fist goes to strike out against him, you know that normally this would be a blow that would at least catch him in the side or catch him in the spleen. But you feel and watch as your hand actually goes into his form, but doesn't make contact with anything. And then you bring your hand back out, and you aren't really sure what to make of this.
All right. Yep, I'm in trouble.
Raggy.
Okay.
Uh-huh. That's all I got, because that's my bonus action and my attack.
Even if he hasn't been hit, does he still have to make the constitution or concentration check,
No.
or is that just
It's
on
only
a
on
hit?
damage.
Okay,
Gotta take damage.
just checking.
Yep. Next
You
up.
have 2 attacks around, don't you? As a
I do. Oh,
Get
thank
him.
goodness.
Get him.
I don't have advantage on this one.
Get him.
Oh, a 19 plus a bunch. How much of a bunch? Stupid pages must click. Not features, it is actions. There it is. Unarmed strike plus 7, so 26.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Nice.
You can stun him now.
Yes, and now I can stun him. But unfortunately, my stun is not that high. Stun. Where's stun? Where is it in
Stunning
this?
strike.
Stunning strike. DC 13 con save.
He can roll a 1.
He could. Come on, Mojo.
He got
Lucky
a
chicken bone.
17.
Blah.
Yeah.
He struggled it off. Ugh.
How much damage did you end up doing?
I didn't roll it.
Okay. Because he still has to make his concentration check.
All right. Yeah. That is there. Okay. And unarmed strike. Ooh, D6 plus 4. But my hands are considered magic weapons if he has immunity or resistance, I mean.
Yep, sounds good.
So 7 points.
Okay. Yeah, so he is going to take a nice fatty 7. I don't know why I crossed out the initiative. That's not a health. There we go.
We'll take it.
I will not. And then,
And he's dead.
yeah. And the wall remains, but you manage to reconnect your punch, so that way it actually hits against a form, and the form that your hand presses against feels very dry underneath. It almost feels like it's very weathered, leathery, but it's very frail and thin.
Ooh.
Underneath the visage of this larger form.
Sounds very assassinatable.
VIPRE.
Cool. Viper runs into a wall of force. Bam. And she beats against it fiercely. I have a question.
Yes.
Can I cast spells through a wall of force, depending on what kind of spell it is?
So nothing physical can pass by the spell, but if you are targeting an area past the wall of force, much like the shadow step that Ragni did, as long as the spell originates there, you're fine. But if it's like a fireball where there has to be a bead that travels from you to the destination, it wouldn't pass through.
Cool. I'm going to try and cast Bane on the captain and the king.
Okay. And what save is that?
Charisma.
Okay.
13.
Captain saves. And so does the king.
Great. So that is 1. Not so good. And then I'm going to look at my
Flowchart.
flow chart. Anybody need healing?
We're fine, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say not yet.
Cool.
I took damage. I haven't put that in yet. I took 4 damage. No, 8 damage.
You're going to be fine. But you don't have any temporary hit points left, do you?
Oh no, I would. That would deflect my temporary hit points.
Should have one.
Yes.
Do you still have temporary hit points left?
I do. I have 1 left.
All right, you guys are going to be fine. VIPRE beats dramatically against the wall. No!
It's the Eric Andre. Let me in!
Let me in.
There aren't any windows or anything, are there?
Not that you can see in here now.
I didn't think so. Cool. That's she's going to start actually beating on the wall instead in hopes that she can bust through it.
Okay.
I mean, she probably won't, but that's if she's got a better chance of doing that than a magic thing.
All right, sounds good. Next up is Lingo. Sulong, you are on deck.
There's no one within melee range of me, correct?
With a 5-foot step, you would be able to get into melee range of the guard captain.
Well, no, I'm going to move away, and I am going to get crossbow arm out, and I'm going to shoot the king, who is right next to Ragni.
He is.
So, as one of my uncommon magic items, I took a +1 crossbow.
Rad.
And
Everything that shoots out that crossbow is +1 and magical.
Yes. So
+1 bolts are bullshit.
yeah. Exactly. All right. So, and my attack roll. See, does a 21 hit the king?
21 does.
Okay. All right. So no big money crit, but
Something is better than nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see here. Okay, that's good. So that's, and then dice roller for my sneak attack. Okay, so that is going to be 29 piercing damage.
Ooh. Okay.
So concentration check would be 14. Con save is 14 because it's half of the damage.
14 on the die.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, so this shield or this wall just continues to stay up. And
I will also use my bonus action to give Sulong advantage on his next attack, because I can do that. Master of Tactics. As long as I'm in 30 feet of him, I'd move like 10 feet away.
Okay.
I feed you targeting data in our cipher.
Okay.
So you have advantage on your next attack roll.
All right.
Okay.
Sulong.
Um,
And the king and the knight captain are next up.
yeah, he points his halberd at the knight captain, yells at Ragni to switch with him, and he's going to run at the king. The first strike with advantage was a natural 20.
Okay.
22 points of damage.
With a con save. It is just enough to keep the wall up.
Okay. Going to use my bonus action to use my War Cleric ability. Swing it around for 28 because I'm going to use my Divine Strike.
Okay.
Guided strike.
Got- Yeah. For 11 points of slashing damage.
Okay. Who knows? Maybe this will be the one. That is a natural 1. On
Yes.
this con check.
And Sulong action surges
Action surge.
and swings the halberd again for a 20
Okay. Sounds
to do
good.
14 points of piercing.
Dang. Okay. Does not like what has happened. Very upset. Alrighty. So, yeah, next up is the king. And he, after the wall drops back down, he is going to look at you, Sulong. And in this moment, you can see that there are what look to be almost these tendrils that sort of seem to extend out near where the king's face is, that are just sort of coming out of its form, weaving and worming. And then you see them move very quickly and then together form a point. And from that point is a very bright green color. I would like for you to make a dexterity saving throw.
The one thing I'm bad at, actually. 14.
All right, so it does not save. So the rest of you see as this beam of green energy shoots out towards Sulong and just catches him right in the center of the chest as he casts Disintegration Ray.
Bye, guys.
Goodbye.
And you just hear, "You have annoyed me for the last time." So his disintegrate. He does not like the things that have
You're
happened
fine,
to him today.
Sulong.
So
You're
much
fine.
for sitting on my throne. Guess my little brother's gonna have to rule.
No, your little brother's a dick.
Well, he's all they got now.
He'll be the next guy we have to go kill.
Yeah.
He's 14.
Great.
He's the next asshat we'll have to go kill.
Tommen was like 14 when he took the throne. When he took the Iron Throne. Tommen is a great king.
Until he jumped out a window.
Spoilers.
You know,
Oh.
that's like 3 seasons ago. It's fine. I love Tommen. He just wanted to play with his cats and be
Total of
kind to people.
74 points of force damage.
He's dead. He's
I'm
fucking
dead.
dead. He died.
That is
When
full dead.
a creature dies from a disintegrate spell, the rest of you see as there is just this center of mass that begins to spur outwards as Sulong turns to a fine powder.
The last action Sulong does is he turns to Viper and he just like smiles and then
Ugh.
I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark.
I don't feel so good, Viper.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. And so with that, it is going to be the guard captain's turn, and she is going to run up and try and strike out against Lingo.
Okay.
So that is going to be a 16 to hit.
It's going to be a miss.
Okay.
Lingo bends at an unnatural angle to dodge the attack. like full, like just bend 90 degrees backwards at the hip. Just the blow swings over me.
Okay. She is going to make a second attack towards you with a natural 20.
Ouch.
All right. So that is going to be for 22 points of slashing damage.
I'm going to uncanny dodge and reduce that to 11.
Okay. Sounds good.
So then I go down to. Question.
Answer.
Because this is important. Now that Sulong is dead, do I still have aid up?
No, you do not.
Okay, so that means I would actually take the equivalent of 15 points of damage because I would lose my 5 temporary or my 5 max boost. All right, I'm gonna just turn that down. There we go. All right. Ouch.
Okay. So then next up, Viper. And Viper, you have just watched from what almost appears to be the king's mouth. These two pale white tendrils form, and he just extends his mouth outward as he speaks with this raspy voice that just doesn't sound right coming from this figure. And this beam shoots out and hits Sulong in the chest as he just disintegrates before you.
Tactical situation. Untenable.
And it's my turn.
Yes.
I'm going to charge him and attack him.
Okay.
Dirty 20.
Okay. You hit?
Damage.
Yes. Roll it.
8 slashing damage. Bonus action. I'm going to try and shove him prone.
Okie dokie. And is that a save on his end? Do you have to hit him?
He has to oppose my athletics check.
Okay.
Yes.
That is a natural 20.
Great.
Womp womp.
So yeah, you go to bring your shield up, and your shield just goes through his form, and he just stays there.
Right. Okay. Retroactively, when I attacked him, can I do one of my maneuvers?
I'm going to say no because you've already used another attack afterwards.
Great. I'm going to use a action surge.
Okay.
And attack him again. $22.
That'll hit.
Nine slashing damage, and I'm going to drop a maneuver on that. I'm going to use menacing, my menacing maneuver, and I get to add my superiority die for extra damage.
Okay.
So that's 2 extra damage, and he has to make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay, what's the DC?
15.
He got a 16.
Great. Oh, if that Bane had landed. All right. And Viper will say in the most commanding voice you've ever heard, "Stay by me," to Ragni and Lingo.
All right. So then next up, Lingo.
Okay, can I? So I can see the dagger in the guard captain's shoulder.
Yeah.
Can I attempt to grab it and yank it up as an attack?
Sure. And I'll say that's a stab.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So I'm going to attempt to do this, and then let's see. That is another 19 to hit.
Yeah, that'll hit her.
Okay. Roll my d4. Let's see. That is going to be 7 piercing damage.
Okay.
And then a dagger comes out of Lingo's other fist, and he's going to attempt to jab her with that one.
Okay.
I got 2 daggers. Kikia! Oh, yes. 18.
Okay. Yeah, that'll actually just hit.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Then that is another 7 piercing damage.
Okay. She is barely standing at this point. She's kind of holding on to the part of her shoulder where you had just jacked the knife. And she just has her longsword off to the side, and she is just breathing heavily at this point.
And I am going to take the attack of, or how far apart is she from Viper? Would it be possible to shift so I'm like back to back with Viper, but without...
Viper had rushed forward to fight the king head on. You are in a back pocket, kind of fighting against this captain by yourself.
Okay, then I will shift so my back is to Viper.
Okay.
So I'm between the guard captain and the king, I suppose.
Sounds good.
Orientation wise.
All right. So next up is the king. And he is going to... He's going to look at you, Ragni.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
And I'm going to need you to make a wisdom saving throw as he turns towards you and says, "Wouldn't you rather collect your debts on the winning side?"
Bum, bum, bum. All right, that goes on this page, and wisdom. Okay. Oh, come on. Whew. 13.
13 is not enough as you go under the effects of a dominate spell. And this king then motions towards Viper and Lingo and says, "Kill them, and your reward will be vast."
Uh-oh.
All right, guys. And it is my
It
turn.
is the guard captain's turn, and she is going to swing out towards Lingo. Lingo, I'm guessing a 15 doesn't hit?
That is another whiff. I parry it with one of my punch daggers.
Yeah, and her second attack also does not hit. Next up, Ragni.
Okay. All right, I wasn't paying attention to where my buddies are at. So I guess Viper is the closest target available, correct?
Yes.
All right. All right. Attack. A punch. Does 17 hit?
No.
Okay.
Ooh, punching a shield, that would hurt.
Not if you're a monk.
Yeah.
But I am above 5th level, so I get a second attack. And that also misses. That's all I got. Because if I bonus action away in a shadow, that doesn't do me any good.
There's a bonus action flurry of blows.
2 more attacks.
Do I get that if I don't hit with an attack?
Yeah, as long as you spend the key point, you can keep trying.
All right. Okay, then let me click the box. Okay, and 2 more attacks. Let's roll 2 dice. 5 with 7 is 12.
That's a no.
Okay, and 9 with 7 is 16.
No.
All right.
She knows you too well, man. She knows all your moves.
Exactly.
Speaking of which, Viper.
Wish.
You now have Ragni on you trying to punch at you and this figure standing before you.
Oh.
I'm going to try and drop a Bane, and it will work on up to 3 creatures. So that will be Ragni, King, Captain.
Okay.
They all need to roll charisma saving throws.
He's going to extend his hand up as you go to cast your spell and says, "No magic." And he's going to counterspell your Bane.
All right. Well, that uses up my action, right?
Yep.
Okay. Lingo, how you feeling, buddy?
Lingo's fine. He's hunky dory.
Hunky dory.
He's taking. Tis but a scratch.
Tis
His slightly blood-stained servant's clothes have
It's
like
not
a
my
big
blood.
red.
It's not mine.
Yeah, it's not my blood. But it's the nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
But exactly.
I think there's nothing else I can really do. Everything else is triggered off of an attack, or is a healing spell. Was this a charm person or a dominate person?
This was a dominate spell.
Okay. Is there anything I can do for him? Would I know this?
Not that you're aware of at this current time. From what you're able to gather from mind-altering magics, you usually have to hit the one who is doing the magic in order to make the effect come to an end, as it is a concentration-based ability. You would know Charming to be similar to that, but higher level, much more pervasive mind-altering magics require a longer form of concentration.
Right. Okay, things are getting pretty desperate. VIPRE is going to throw off her helmet and look at Tabby and say, I know you can't attack the king, but you can attack him. And she's going to point at Ragni.
Oh.
Desperate. And that's it.
Okay. Sounds good. So
Lingo. What do we see under the helmet?
That would be cruel, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Actually, she looks very similar to Tavi, only she's got a huge disfiguring scar on the right side of her face, and one eye is glowing the same color as the scar. It looks like an arcane burn. Green? I think we went with green.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a green arcane burn on the side of her face.
Very cool.
All right.
Lingo.
Does Tavi react at all to?
So Tabby looks directly at you, Viper, and there is no change in her expression. She does not seem to recognize you or heed your words.
So, question: was it our own self-imposed rule to not kill the daughter, or was that part of our contract?
That was your own self-imposed rule.
That was a self-imposed rule.
Well, seeing as though things have gone tits up, Lingo's self-preservation protocols are kicking in, and he's just going to go jab on this.
Okay.
Let's see. So 2 attacks. Let's see. 24 on the first one.
That'll hit.
Alrighty, so I'm gonna roll DiMaggio. Let's see. That is 7 more points of piercing damage.
She's down. You see her body just fall down to the ground.
And Lingo is going to wheel around and shoot his dagger, his offhand dagger, at the king.
Okay.
Let's see. Does a... I can math, I swear. 17 hit the king.
17 does hit. Roll for damage.
Does hit. Do I get sneak attack? Because
You have an
VIPRE
ally
is
within 5.
Sweet. So that is okay. Not bad. All right. That is 22 piercing damage.
Okay. He got a 20 on his con check. Okay. Sounds good. So next up, unless you had anything that you would like to do on your bonus action, you still have your move.
That was my bonus action to shoot the dagger.
Okay.
Yeah. So main offhand attack. I suppose. You know what? Let's see. I think Viper's a little more durable than I am.
I am quite durable, and you should be near me so that I can be durable for you.
I see. So I will move forward. I will move into the fray.
Okay.
Especially since you're the only person who's going to be receiving my reaction from now on.
I will move behind Viper. So I'm still within 5 feet of her, but she is between me and Ragni and the king, if that's possible.
Sounds good.
Over his shoulder.
Yeah, I know. I want to get this crossbow in.
We call this the scorpion form.
Yeah, exactly.
One hand on your shoulder, the other.
Lingo.
Yes.
Make a wisdom save as your eyes lock with the king.
Okay. 19.
Or... No, sorry. He wouldn't do that. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. No, he's just going to... You see his form begin to flicker in place, and then out from the first form pops a second one, and then a third, and then a fourth, and they all just begin slightly rotating in place. I believe that is what he would do.
Okay.
Yeah, that is what he casts. And then he maintains his presence there, and says to Ragni, "Leave that one alive." And he nods towards Viper, and says, "Get rid of the other." And that is going to be it for his turn. Then the Knight Captain makes a death save. She's good on her first one. Ragni, it is your turn.
All right.
Just come down to this,
So,
my old friend.
leave that one alive to Viper.
Yes, but with
Sort
the
of-
intent of he gave the intent like leave her unconscious, but
Right.
don't kill her outright.
All right. So then that's what I'll go ahead and do another round of flurry of blows. Fists, feet, skull, whatever I can connect with. 15 plus 7, 24.
That'll hit.
All right. For 8 points of damage, bludgeoning, not subdual damage. And then a 9 plus 7, 16.
No.
Okay. And then the flurry. Over 20 and 19.
Yes.
So both of those hit. And that'd be 8 on top of that. So 8 plus 5, 13.
Okay.
All to knock you out.
Alrighty.
Oh, and I spend a key point.
Yes. Next up, Viper. And you see 4 shimmering versions of this form, of this king that you know is not the king, directly in front of you.
Yep. I'm going to attempt to attack him.
Okay. So,
Disadvantage, right?
with mirror image up. It is actually a lot more complicated than that for some fucking reason.
Yeah.
It's not just blur. Like, come on.
No. So whenever a creature targets you with an attack during the spell's duration, roll a d20 to determine whether the attack targets you or one of the duplicates.
Oh.
So it is against one of the duplicates.
All right.
So still make your attack.
Okay. That's gonna be a 16.
Okay, so one of these duplicates just dissipates, and then there are 3.
Okay. I'm gonna follow it up with a shove attack.
Okay.
Shield shove.
Okay, and that was also against another one of the duplicates.
All right. Awesome.
Okay. So, oh, sorry. No, the shield shove is a physical thing, so it wouldn't target a duplicate. It would target him directly. So does a... What did you get?
10.
All right. You got a 12.
Yay!
So your shield goes, and a hand just comes down and then palms the side of your shield and just pushes it back as you begin to try and shove up against him.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's me.
Okay. So next up is Lingo.
We go. Shit. Okay. Yeah, kind of every threat monitoring system that, going back to the inside of his HUD, is getting like a pop-up, like,
There's the percentage of success, and it has just been
yeah,
decreasing.
it's dropping, tactical situation untenable, probably some alerts going on,
Subsystem.
and-
This is fine.
Yeah, exactly. He's got his list of subsystems, just fine self-diagnostics, and I think Lingo is gonna go for a crossbow bolt against the king.
Okay.
Let's see, and that is a dirty 20 to hit.
Okay. So your bolt fires, and another one of these images just disappears
Shucks.
until there are 2.
All right. And then I am going to I'm going to use my Master of Tactics on Viper to give her advantage on her next attack. Though I'm not sure how useful that will be against mirror image.
Okay.
Might be.
Yeah.
So then next up is the king. And with you standing directly behind Viper, you see that he just dissipates his facade. He is just completely removes this illusion of being the king in front of you. And instead, you see long tendrils extending from where a mouth would be. Pallid skin, eyes that are drooping, that don't have eyes within the sockets themselves, but are 2 small motes of lightish blue flame that just sort of seem to hover where his eyes should be. And this creature has these long, almost webbed fingers, but the skin is cracked and it doesn't seem very well put together. And this creature begins bringing his hands up into a triangle-like form, and you see some of the tendrils extend down and begin to move in a very arcane pattern. And you watch as 2 of the other tendrils actually hook down and go inside of where you think its lower jaw is, and you start seeing that there are bulges on the inside of this creature's throat as it begins gurgling with this almost arcane aura, as it is going to cast a lightning bolt directly upon the 2 of you. So I will need you both to make dexterity saving throws.
Well, I've got evasion, so
I've got a magic shield that helps me.
true, it does.
Question.
Yes.
I know that mechanically this isn't this doesn't work this way, but if I succeed on this, can I reflect the lightning bolt back at him?
No.
Okay. Or at least away from Lingo. It's a natural 20!
Good, you're gonna take half.
Guess what? My shield means that I don't have to take half. Or actually, that was a feat.
Yep.
I don't have to take half. It goes away. I took a feat for this.
If you have shield mastery, yep.
If I take shield mastery.
Nice.
And I got a 23. So if that passes, I just don't take any damage because of evasion.
So yeah.
Maybe you do deflect it, Viper.
And it, after you do this, it just looks at you and like squints the muscle ridges over its eyebrows because it doesn't have eyes or eyelids to actually like give you a glare, but you can feel the enmity just exuding from this creature. Then it is... That's a failed death saving throw for her. That's at 1, so she has 1 success and 2 fails.
Great!
So then next up is going to be Ragni.
All right. Once again, punch.
You have done well, servant.
1 hit, 1 miss. For 10 points of knockout damage, and then flurry of blows. Does 18 hit?
No.
Okay. So 1 miss, and the other one is like a 25 to hit.
Oh yeah, of course.
So, and that is another 7 points of bludgeoning damage. And that's it.
Okay.
All right.
And I will mark
Next up,
off yet another.
Viper.
If you get his last mirror image down, I can F him up.
I have 18 hit points left. I can't take another round from Ragni.
I mean, can you rally yourself?
Let me check. I'm pretty sure no. Viper could use a rally.
Yeah.
And I don't think that I could rally enough hit points to make a Ragni difference.
Yeah.
Do you have second wind?
You also do
I
have
do
second
have
wind.
second wind. I'm sorry. I keep forgetting that I'm a fighter. Thank you for contributing.
It's what I can
Ghost
do.
of Sulong. Remember the second wind.
I told you so, second wind.
You told me so. I told you so.
Ooh.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and second wind first of all.
All right.
And I regain 11 hit points.
And that is your bonus action.
That is my bonus action. I am gonna attack him.
Okay.
Sorry, Tabby, you got yourself dominated, and now you're gonna die. So,
Hey,
what can I say?
Lingo doesn't feel emotions. Lingo doesn't care.
16.
Do
Do I hit the blurry boy?
is actually going to raise up a hand as you see a large shield appear in front of him that bats off your weapon as you try and strike out against him.
It's just shield, not force of wall.
No,
Force of wall.
just a shield spell.
Force of wall.
Force of wall. Okay, that's it. That doesn't count as a hit.
No.
Okay, that's it for me.
Oh, crap. If I recall correctly, shield lasts until the beginning of his next turn, too.
Yes. And he still has a double up.
Damn. But Lingo wouldn't know that. Lingo doesn't know much about magic. So Lingo is going to shoot the crossbow. All right. Let's see. That is going to be a 26, so natural 18.
All right. With that, the last image disappears.
Damn it! Oh.
He really got the bang for his buck off of
Yeah.
that spell.
Really?
Mirror image is a sweet spell.
It is, though.
Do you have a bonus action?
I do have a bonus action. Yeah, I will again master of tactics. Viper should have had advantage on that attack,
I should have had advantage on that attack.
but
Shrug.
days gone.
Yeah.
So advantage on the next one.
Yes.
We will remember it this time.
Yes,
Please
feeding
remember.
targeting data.
All right. So it is the creature formerly known as Syrus's turn. And at this, he is going to, you see that again with kind of guttural motion that is happening inside of his throat, he begins to cast a spell and makes another triangle with his hands. And as he does, you see one of these tendrils actually comes back up out of his mouth to put itself at the top. And then there are other tendrils that put itself on the sides as you see three red beads appear as he's going to try and cast Scorching Ray with all three beams targeting you, Viper.
I believe that Lingo can pull this out.
Okay.
I believe.
I believe in Lingo.
So, Scorching Ray!
Scorching Ray.
So,
Squonk. You hear Squonk off in the background.
Oh, Squonk, give me strength.
Crashes through a window, hits this motherfucker in the head, and flies away.
Oh, look, he broke his concentration.
Fly-by attack.
17 doesn't hit.
Nope.
That's a natural 20.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Cool.
And then the
Goodbye, Lingo.
Yeah.
third does not hit. So,
Maybe 4d6.
Maybe. Depends on the modifier.
20 points of fire damage.
I am
Bye.
still up.
oh, nice.
It was that second wind. That second wind kept me up.
And then it is
Good job, RJ.
for your sister.
She dead?
Yeah, she did.
She dead.
As a third
Sorry.
fail.
Eh.
Ragnar,
Lingo's
it
not
is your
sorry.
turn.
A bunch of death then, I guess. I still have points, so I'm just gonna keep boom, 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 boom. Never. So that's a hit and a miss. 7 more points of damage. And flurry of blows. Oh, both hits.
All right, I'm going down, y'all.
And that'd be 8, 10, 13 points.
Do them separately rather than together,
Oh,
because the first
alright.
strike or the third one, the first of the flurry of blows might have been enough to drop Viper
Oh,
rather
okay.
than
All
rolling
right,
both.
so that's
it's
the black.
Save one for Lingo.
Yeah.
So 6 would have been the first one. 6
Okay.
points.
That drops me.
Okay, so then the second one is 20, a dirty 22,
That hits.
and that would be 7 points.
Okay. So I would take that 7. So that was a 49. Okay.
Come on, Lingo, you can do
That's
this.
all I got.
All right.
Alrighty. Viper. Make a death saving throw.
Okay.
Or Ragnar, had you dropped her to unconscious, correct?
Correct.
All right,
Yep.
yeah,
there was
so no
subdual,
death saves. You were just
that's
unconscious.
what he asked for. So
I just want you to know I would have failed it.
Well, I'm glad you didn't. Lingo, it is your turn. And you see that
Okay.
there is this pallid skinned creature in front of you. Ragnar has just dropped down Viper and is now coming up against you. What would you like to do?
Bonus action disengage. Spend all 30 feet of my movement to get away. I know that doesn't mean anything for Rachni. But, yeah, teleports behind you. Nothing personnel, kid.
Why you hit yourself?
And then I'm going to heavy crossbow the dude bro, the jabroni.
Okay.
Jabroni.
Yeah. Let's see. That is a 19 to hit.
You see, again, a wall just appear directly in front of him as the bolt is about to hit and just is deflected away.
Damn. Okay, that's my turn.
And then this creature will look at you and say, I am going to have fun looking through you. And again, he casts a Scorching Ray. Or no, he cannot cast Scorching. Or, yeah, he'd be able to cast Scorching Ray one last time. So he is going to shoot it towards you. Does a 13 hit.
Miss.
Okay. Does a modified 20 hit.
Yes.
Okay. And does a 16 hit.
Miss.
Okay. So you are going to take 6 points of fire damage.
Okay. Damage. Alrighty.
And then the creature looks towards you, Ragné, and then motions with his hand towards Lingo and says, he does not need to be alive for me to dissect.
Spooky.
I'll do what I do best.
Oh.
Okay. So you're rushing up on Lingo?
Yeah. Oh, it is my turn.
Yeah, it's
wow.
your turn.
That went fast. Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot less people in the rounds now.
Yeah.
All right. And do I know, as Ragni, if he can? Oh no, he just gave the kill command. Never mind. Flurry of blows.
I have an AC of 18.
Okay. So hit and hit. Do you want me to cut them up or
Yeah,
just...
if you wouldn't mind doing them individually.
Sure.
Yeah.
So the first one, the black dice, that is 10 damage.
I'm going to uncanny dodge that one and reduce it to 5.
Okay. And then the red dice are 6 points of damage.
Okay.
Was that the first round or second round?
That was the first 2 attacks.
Okay.
Yeah.
And a miss and a hit.
Okay.
Ooh, 5 and 4 is 9 points of damage.
9. All right.
The-
Lingo's on the ropes, folks.
The image of the shadow monk going punch, punch, and metal denting is just,
Mhm. Yeah, Lingo's HUD is going nuts. Systems failing. Dire situation. Odds are like 1.2%. All right.
Lingo.
And Lingo is going to disengage, and he's gonna let her rip one more crossbow bolt at the king.
Chicken bone, lucky chicken bone.
All right. Spirit of the dice, Nuff will be with us. Dang it. I mean, it's still a natural 19, so that's going to be a 27 to hit.
Okay. Roll for damage.
Can't shield that. Okay. All right. Okay. Not bad. That is 15 piercing damage.
How do you want to do this?
Yes. I knew Lingo would pull through.
What does it look like?
Yeah, so Lingo... so it's kind of like those of you who's in the first Avengers movie when... this is from first-person perspective. but when Iron Man flies through the rift with the nuke and his HUD starts failing on a suit, it's like all of that jankiness, and it shuts down, and all he has is his, I guess, BIOS, I suppose, and just lets it go, and it pierces the one of the green motes of flame, and the king stutters back for a moment. The other mote of flame goes out, and then onto the knees, face first onto the floor.
Alrighty. So that brings us out of combat. As Ragni, you feel the wave of magic that had been over you completely wash away. You look over and you realize that you have been punching the absolute shit out of everybody. And
Except the bad guy.
Viper lays face down on the ground next to you. Or near you.
I'm like,
Near
I
you.
don't think he would say anything. But he would just go over and try to stabilize.
Yeah, she is. She's only unconscious. She is not bleeding out.
As
you had been given the order to turn her unconscious.
All right. And he looks over at Lingo and then just is kind of ashamed. So I guess he doesn't say anything either. He's just dark and brooding and kind of like moving Viper around to kind of like make her not like like a chalk drawing for the cops, and put her together like she's like hugging herself or something, and maybe put her cloak over her or someone's cloak or something, maybe put something under her head.
Can I make an investigation check to try and to see if there's any sort of like secret exits from this room in particular?
I'll say for the sake of time, because we have already gone well over what we normally do, but we were kind of wrapped up into a danger battle.
Yes.
So you do manage to find a way out of this area if you so choose. There was quite a commotion that was made in this room, so if you guys are going to leave, you are going to have to leave very quickly.
Yes, Lingo would try to collect Viper anyway.
Yeah, and Viper being unconscious, you can just wake her up. And Viper, you are back at 1.
Cool.
And when you go
Viper...
and check on your sister to see the state, you check her pulse and she is no longer breathing.
Okay. If her eyes are open, Viper will close them. And she will go and collect Sulong. All the ashes.
You know that in order to collect all of the ashes, you probably don't have time for that, as again, you guys were kind of having a magical battle in the back while while this keep was on high alert. But you managed to get a few scoops of your former friend kind of into a bag. And then that is when you were like, your friends tell you, we have to go, we have to get out of here. And you guys managed, unless you guys have another plan as to what you would like to do.
Exit, assessment, situation dire, exit immediately, exfiltrate.
Okay.
Go.
So yeah, as all of you are leaving, Viper, you instinctually grab the book that was on the table, or Lingo, I'll say. You'll instinctually grab the book that was on the table that the king was reading, mostly because if this not king was reading something, you're very interested in what it was that he was getting up to. So you managed to take that, and then the lot of you rush back out to the side grate where you had initially made your entrance in. And as you are getting back out into the courtyard, that's when you start hearing cries of alarm of people who have now uncovered the successful assassination attempt. But there are shocks of horror and confusion as inside of the king's chamber is just this white murderized Illithid, and the captain of the guard, also deceased. You manage to make your way out of the sewers back out into the town, and after about a half day's journey of just pushing on as best you can, you eventually meet up with Jackspar. And you successfully make it back. You make it back outside of the nation. Everything goes off without a hitch. And in the months that follow, the people of Botan have lost their leader. They have lost their guard captain. They are no longer a nation within the warring nations. They had expanded so large, but now there is no one to lead them outside of a second captain. And upon seeing and kind of realizing what had happened, this second captain just gives he gives up his claim. No one wants to take up the lands of Botan under their own, seeing as how they feel like this keep is cursed, or that there was some sort of demon that was let loose. They have no idea what this Illithid creature is. And so over the next several months, Ardaz will actually take most of the land, and they seeing as how they were the closest, and they begin to share with other of these close nations as well that kind of surrounded it until they eventually close in. And VIPRE, the keep that you had been a part of is now ruled by somebody else. Lingo, as you read through this tome that you had found, it isn't necessarily a spell book, but it is more of a personalized journal, more of like a diary almost of this creature, who talks about how easy it was to infiltrate into this society and use the creatures of the land to help turn the peoples against each other, and how ridiculous it was that they were so focused on fighting amongst each other that they didn't even recognize what he was there doing. It also goes to outline that Syrus Botan was removed. He was not actually killed, as the creature felt like he had more opportunity within the Obsidian Wastes to the west of the nations, far off towards the coast. And it seems like he used magics and mind-altering abilities to drive this king mad, and then sentenced him off to a life in exile. And that is the information that you are able to gain on this. VIPRE, you return the ashes to House Shen of their unadorned dragon, Sulong, and they hold a glorious ceremony in his honor, as they do not have the magical means to bring him back from just dust. It seems like if there was some kind of ability like that, they would need the help of a very, very, very powerful magic caster, if anything, especially because you weren't able to get all of the dust. But you are victorious. Botan is no more. And that is where we will call it for tonight's one shot. So,
Lingo.
Go Lingo! You want to know who the real star was? It was Lingo. It was Lingo.
It was
star.
Lingo all along.
Wrong. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So I
What
would
can
like
I
to
say?
I would like to say, first and foremost, thank you to everybody who played in this wonderful one shot. I'm sorry, RJ. I know you loved Sulong. To be fair, RJ did say that he had protag armor before we started this, because he was
I didn't say I had protag armor. I said I was gonna be a shonen protag.
Oh,
Whoops. What?
I tried to save you, man. I really did.
Oh man, the revival scene would have been Sulong sitting up, turning to VIPRE and said, "You were right."
Man, fuck you. No.
Bitch stands up and leaves.
oh no. We're getting early into Knights of the Courtyard.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That is
So-
going to be for our Nights in the Courtyard after show. But before we go, RJ, where can we find you? What do you do?
Hey, I'm RJ here on the show. You can catch me at RJS282, where on Twitter and Twitch, where I tweet about the nerdy things, and probably going to tweet about this angrily. Kidding. Um, you can catch me on the Monday night game as Caleb the Shatterkai Cleric on our homebrew campaign. You can catch me on Tuesday as Speedy, Chris Estrad, run by the lovely Danae Keener, who plays VIPRE. And on Sundays on Pro Restarters channel at 8 p.m. EST for Cypher System Phase as G3 the Robot.
Yes. Graybeard, where can we find you? What do you do?
You can catch me off guard, not clicking my button. Graybeard's Tavern. You can find me Sunday mornings on my own show, doing Darkest Dungeon, and there was not a lot of props today because I was a monk. So, but normally there's all kinds of fun toys to play with during the show. Flail and other whatnots. So pop by. We have a good time. That's 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time till noon. Usually, and then if we're having a lot of fun, a little longer. But then got nothing on Mondays, Tuesdays. Someday I will be on Curse of Strahd as a surprise guest character. So we'll play that out. I really got excited when I almost called him Blake. Cyber was on the other night, so I was like, "Oh, it's happening! We're getting the guests!" So very cool. But Wednesdays, starting at the end of May, I'll be in Ghosts of Saltmarsh over on Damn It Barry's channel with Lazy Bones and LB and Satan. And then what else? Hail Satan. And then Friday nights, starting next weekend, I'll be on Jacqueline Hare's channel as a SWAT team member in a game where we try to take over Miami from the bad guy mafia characters, which is another whole game we're going to play. It sounds amazing. I can't wait to see it. And then Sundays, God, we got a lot of stuff going on, don't we? On Sundays, I'll be with LB and playing on Encounter Roleplay. We're going to be doing Apocalypse World, but we're basically like Chrono Warriors. We're jumping through time kind of thing. And I'm the gun lugger from the future, so I've got more guns to paint up and have more props. So it will be all kinds of fun. So join us there. That's Graybeard.
Alrighty. And Lazy Bones, where can we find you? What do you do?
Well, now that Young Heroes of Fate have come to a close, you can't find me there, but I am occasionally popping up on One Shot Wednesdays. It's a lot of fun. Like I said, like Graybeard said earlier, I will be in Ghosts of Saltmarsh playing Sospero, the Air Genasi monk, who is just a sensitive soul in a rough and tumble world. Unlike Lingo. You can find me at _LazyBones on Twitter or at LazyBones TV on Twitch. Mordhau just came out, which is basically a better version of my favorite game of all time. So I will be streaming a lot of that, in the evenings when I get home from work. So yeah, come check it out and come hang out. Good jams and good sword fighting in Mordhau.
It was super cool. It looked
It's
like
really
a
fun.
much better version of Chivalry, and I really liked Chivalry.
Yeah,
Listen,
me too.
if I could kick you into a spike or off a ledge, A+ game.
I mean, you could do that. So
Excellent. And Danae, where can we find you? What do you do?
My name's Danae Keener. You can find me at DanaeKeener.com. I do drawings that are nerdy and mostly related to D&D. You can also find me here on this channel on Mondays as Coriander the Eldrin Paladin, and on Tuesdays running Curse of Strahd, and on Wednesdays getting my heart ripped out.
Whoops!
But only sometimes.
Only the sometimes. And if you have made it this far, you probably already know who I am, but if you don't, hello, fella. It's me, the Indoor Adventurer, and you have been watching Indoor Adventures. We stream Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and coming up later this month, Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, every week. There's so much content. I don't know what to do with it all, except for post it on indooradventures.podbean.com, anchor.fm/pod. I always want to say anchor.fm/podbean. Anchor.fm/indooradventures, where you can get links to find us on either iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Overcast, any of your preferred audiocast listening places. You can find us under Indoor Adventures, which, if we are not there, please let me know, and I'll figure out a way to get our content where you want it the most, or just want it in general. Also, like we said earlier, we do have an after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we go as our Patreon supported podcast. So if you go to patreon.com/indooradventures, you can get access to that, as well as access to our Discord. But our Discord is going to be open for everybody, so I'm going to include links to that in the description of our Twitch channel. So, not on YouTube, not on the audio casts, only on Twitch. Just log in, click the button, and then you're in. But we're super simple. So we are going to try and go into that. GB?
Next Wednesday, we've got the Loaming 20s. So I almost forgot. Next Wednesday, we picked a specific game we're going to play, because it'll be one of my last times be on One Shot Wednesdays. We're going to be doing a 1920s horror game that we've played 2 sessions of so far?
Yeah, we played 2 sessions before.
And if you haven't seen it, go watch it, because it's just ridiculous.
It's a little ridiculous.
It's the most fun a girl can have.
You listen here.
There's Nazi gnomes and werewolf gangsters who have their own Twitter. Go to Twitter.
Oh yeah, freaking Biggie Bad Wolf.
Don Biggie Bad Wolf on Twitter. And you anyway, it's just ridiculous. Come check us out next Wednesday.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'll get to be a disaster. Well, a different kind of disaster on Wednesday. Come and see.
Come and see. And with that, with all of these shows and all of this content and all of this stuff, guys, thank you so much for coming by and giving us the time of day, let alone sticking with us till the very end. So with that in mind, I would like to say thank you to all of you wonderful players again, and thank you to all of you wonderful audience for sticking by. And we will see you guys next time. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.